Whoops. I put it on the wrong. Well, it's still not picking up anything. Let me see. I'm just going to look at some, I'm just going to look at some cringy shit here. We got Richard Gere. I saw Richard Gere on a Twitter video with some fine scholars. I want to see what this nonsense is all about. I got some comic books to look at as well. I'm hoping the audio, did I unmute everything? Yeah, I believe I did. All right. Let's see what old Richard has to say here.
Everyone is doing okay now. They were on two boats in the middle of the ocean. One of the boats was turned back and taken by the Libyan Navy. We don't know what happened to them. The two boats that were rescued here, probably all hands on board would have been lost. So the people that you see here on this boat, they're only here because of the donations to Open Arms.
You know that they're about ready. I can't wait to see some of these. Like right here, they look like they could kill him at any time. Yeah, I've seen. This is like watching the weasel or the wolves around the hen house. They're like, we can't wait to get to shore. We're gonna fuck this dude up, man. We're gonna kidnap this guy. How much we give for this white man? Oh my goodness. Oh, that is hilarious. Exactly. I'm fumbling around early this morning trying to figure out what I'm trying to say, and you're just like, how much we give for this white man? Yeah, these I'm sure somebody how many did Richard Gere take into his own lavish private home? I'm guessing exactly 0, but you need to allow them into your neighborhood to loot and murder. Exactly. Yeah. My Janzer says his hatred never sleeps. Oh my God. Yeah, I got some I'm just going to look for some random stuff. I got some comic books to look at too. I bought some comic books at the store while I was visiting Mom and Dad yesterday. I walked over from my mom and dad's house to the Bob's Comic Castle. And with the old GoPro, but I was just going to show some of the stuff I got. I might go back. I wanted to go back today, actually, and get some more stuff, but I forgot to look for a few things. But, yeah, this is hilarious. Let's continue.
To the work that Open Arms does.
These fucking, these goddamn Hollywood actors are fucking delusional. All right? Absolute. This is what delusion looks like right here. See this guy? This is what put a little red nose on him and put some white he is a fucking bozo. All right. These Richard, when they show up and they've allowed all these people into like Europe and all the Scandinavian countries that have allowed them in, and now it's the rape capital of the fucking world, Sweden and such. But good old Richard, he's sitting here, and then he'll fly his private jet back to his gated community. If you're not willing to get your hands dirty, Richard, and be among what you're advocating for, then shut the fuck up. I don't go and tell other people how to live their fucking life and then go, oh, I've said my piece and I'm good. We're good here. Yeah, I'm gonna creep away now. And it's same with politicians.
To be able to get to a free port, be able to get off the boats, get on land, and start a new life, be taken care of, and make a life for themselves.
Taken care of, huh?
So please, support us here and open.
Look, I'm all about empathy. Well, I'm not all about empathy, but you got to live in the real world, man. This does not solve anything, Richard. And this could be anybody. I'm not even talking about this. Could be anybody. I can't wait. Oh, I already read this one. Richard Gere is a staunch supporter of homeless veterans. That's great. That's what he should be doing. And has contributed to many food pantries. Shelters and various communities. Well, a lot of people do that. You don't have to be a Hollywood actor to do that. Why would Richard Gere get a special pat on the back? That's a lie. If it were the Swedish bikini team, not if they're looting and murdering, though. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, but Swedish bikini models don't have. Let's look at the statistics on the looting and murdering and raping from the Swedish bikini team. Yeah, so we're supposed to pat Richard Gere on the back because he's contributed to many food pantries, shelters, and various. My mom and dad do that. Like, my dad gave $1,000 to a local thing this year, a local organization in the town they live in. So what? You're saying tall, hot blondes aren't suffering homes? That's my your non-profit. Oh, you'd want to profit off of it. Not monetarily speaking, but yeah. UK and USA rubblish. Never mind. I don't even. The racist and xenophobes are attacking Richard Gere. No. Oh, Ukraine flag. Liberal agnostic, a deep state cheerleader, pet peeves, far right Nazis. Nazis aren't far right, Miss Ukrainian thing. I don't see you over there fighting. Are you over there? Good God, I gotta look at this dumb. I'm not even gonna bother. Ukrainian flag and the flag of Ukraine in the bio thing here. Yeah, I like that meme. You're about ready to hear something really fucking delusional and stupid. Where are the women and children, Richard? Richard Gere was taken to a hospital emergency room to have a gerbil removed from his rectum. Fact checks by Snow. False. It was a chipmunk. Oh, shit. It was a chipmunk. Alvin. Oh, my God, man. Not too many are going to get that reference. I get that reference. I understand it. They've been talking to that. I remember that when I was a kid in the early 80s. They were talking about that. As he was just coming up, like he was doing Officer and a Gentleman, and he did a French type artsy movie where he was having some sex with like a 14-year-old Italian girl or some shit. I think it was called Breathless or something. I wanted to stay. It showed her naked. She was hot. She wasn't 14. The actress was obviously age, but some young French girl in it. I remember staying up in the basement and listening to see if my mom and dad were coming because I'm like 13, 14 years old, trying to catch. We had just gotten HBO. I was trying to catch a sneak peek of that chick naked. That was my first Richard Gere. Officer and a Gentleman was the first time I ever saw Richard Gere. And not that any of that matters. I'm just saying, hey, yeah, delusional fuck. Okay, enough of that. Let me go to the Discord channel and see. Shit's hilarious, man. Oh, I know what I wanted to look at. This shit's funny. Oh, it's muted.
Oh, it's
These two hoes.
Competition that I judge.
Oh, in like sausage eating?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, sausage eating.
King of the Kubasa and local sausage makers, they all make their best and they enter it.
I bet it's delicious.
It is. It's February 9th, 7 p.m. at Prairie Land Park. Tickets are only $25. It's for charity, and you can get tickets online at
Dude, I lost it when she said that when I watched this the first time. I was like, I knew what was coming too. I'd never seen this video, but I knew exactly what was coming.
Well, you're thinking about sausage, so.
That's the cringy part when you're thinking about sausage. So in the mind of 304s right here. That's exact. Fucking cat hair on there.
Oh my goodness. That was ridiculous, wasn't it?
We were not drinking wine today.
No, we weren't. We weren't.
Now it's like a really good event.
It is. King of the Kubasa. So go to pickadick.com.
It's time now for a full look at your forecast with Astrid. Maybe we can canoodle before you get.
Oh my God.
We're going to be canoodling. What?
Oh, I thought canoodle meant chat. Astrid, you're lucky there's a producer in my ear. I would have carried that on and on.
You know what? You just made the blooper reel. Good job, Andrew.
What a creeper. Oh my God. We'll be canoodling. And she's like, no, we're not going to be canoodling. Oh, that shit's hilarious, man. Tiny Chihuahua's high five attempts are hilarious. I hadn't seen this one.
She's about the smallest dog you've ever seen.
Oh,
Just a precious little gem. I'm Kelly, and this is Gizzy's story for GeoBeats. When I lived in Florida, I was volunteering at Aliquot Animal Refuge.
oh, eating. What other sauce? Yeah, what the fuck? Oh my God! Like I said, in the mind of 304s, man. That's fucking hilarious, man. Dude, I love this dog. Dude, Mr. Millet would fucking look at me. If I got a dog like this, Mr. Millet would look at me and like, you have lost your fucking mind, dude.
Speak English.
Oh.
And a 97 dog horde case come in.
Come on.
The lady, I think, was charged. Gizzy came along.
Gizzy.
I saw her, and I'm not even a small dog person, but I was like,
I'm gonna
holy
turn that down
cow,
just
that
a
is
little
the
bit.
cutest dog I've ever
Oh
seen.
my God.
Ready to go out?
And I ended up being able to adopt her.
What a badass dog.
2 years after I got
Holy
her, I ended up
shit.
hitting the road in my travel trailer and traveling full time, mostly around the West. She loved that because she had a new backyard.
Look at
about
that
every 2
shit.
weeks or so. Izzy, come here. She's 11 years old, but she's still definitely
11?
acts like a puppy at times.
Oh.
Ready? High five. Gizzy's
Yeah,
definitely
you
a
did it.
one-person dog. You okay? She has latched onto me, and for anyone else to even touch her is kind of
97.
Eat what?
Everybody always wants to touch her, but I have to ask them not to try because it makes her nervous.
Oh.
For the most part, people are respectful of it, but sometimes people just keep coming in, and I just literally have to turn away. I haven't figured out the perfect thing to say yet. I wish she was more personable that way, but she's just not.
Who
She lives her
cares
little life.
if she's not?
It's hard to describe. I don't know. She's just a little piece of me.
She will fuss at me
Uh.
coming to bed.
Say please.
She'll start squeaking at me, giving me all these little signs.
Dude, now I want one. I want that. That is badass dog. Dude, I'd put a black spiked collar on her. Like a Judas Priest, Judas Priest or something, and fucking get a big chain leash, and I would walk this dog around town proudly. Like, yeah, don't fuck with me. Dude, I love this dog.
Okay. She lays next to me, and incredibly, my body seems to know that she's there. And I've never rolled over on her in my sleep. She's incredibly expressive. High five. The high fives are after she took off.
Oh, that's
So
badass,
her
dude.
Going for the finger for a high five.
Yeah, get you some.
There's another thing I do called the color game.
What color's today? Red.
I ask her what's the color of the day, and she backs up and does her paws and gets all excited, and I will say, blue. Is it green? And whenever she barks, that is the color of the day.
Blue?
Roof.
Is it blue? Okay. Pink. Blue. Green. Orange. Blue. Okay.
Uh-oh. Don't tell me. Oh, no.
She started having symptoms of seizure-like activity. She's on anti-seizure type of medication, and knock on wood, has been good.
You're better. Oh, big stretch.
She's very sensitive. There were times when it was minute by minute, hour by hour.
I didn't know she was that old, though.
And it really affects me. If she's not feeling good, I do not feel good.
It's Gizzy's life.
Gizzy's
Gizzy.
world. Every time I pick her up, I can't believe how small this dog is. 2.5 pounds.
Her body is
2.5 pounds?
Coke can.
As small as she is, she's been one of the biggest. See what I mean? This dog.
Oh,
She's
that's
had one of the
badass dog,
biggest
man.
Impacts of my life of any other person, place, or thing.
I love the
would have to
dog.
say. As long as you're happy, right?
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool as hell, dude. I love that dog. My cats would not approve. Mr. Millet and Rousey would be like, I've been trying. My sister loves Rousey, pictures of Rousey. Oh, somebody just responded to me on Twitter, Matt. Oh, yeah, the fucking, I got to look this up. Let me, I keep arguing with these guys about this dog issue. This dog ran down to the edge of the driveway, and this stupid guy, I'm gonna have to show that. This stupid dude runs out into a car, and they say that the homeowner should be responsible. It's like, no. This happens to me often. He's walking real slow. This dog comes down and he runs right into a car. That is not the dog's fault. The dog did not even come within 10 feet of this guy. Just because you perceive something as a threat doesn't dissolve you of personal responsibility. Exactly. That doesn't mean that I can just panic and go do something stupid that's going to kill me. All right. Would he run and jump off of a 300-foot bridge? If he saw the car, the people that are saying that he could sue the homeowner there are fucking morons. I've been arguing with him for like 2 days. Right here he goes, it's obviously threatening. Both dog owner and driver are liable. No. When I walk in the street, I have given up my reasonable, this is what's wrong with today's society right here. People like this. If I'm out here in the town walking in the street and something catches my attention, I don't know if it's a tree limb falling or something, and I run blindly, panic into a truck or a bus, that's on me. That's not on the owner of the house that the tree fell. That's on me. That dog, maybe you can make the argument that dog, it would have had to done something. Exactly. I have dogs run up to the property edge on me all the time when I walk, barking, rah, 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 and they're not on leashes. And yes, they could come and bite me. And yes, I could hold that dog owner responsible if that dog would actually bite me. But just the dog running and barking right there on the edge of the driveway doesn't just absolve me of personal responsibility for my safety. I can't just go run off a 300 bridge and say, look what you made me do. Yeah. Or charge the dog. But no, it doesn't mean that you... And how do you not see the car? I mean, you're right. It almost looks staged. This almost looks staged. Because the car's just right there. He was going to get hit by that car anyway. And all these people in the comments are doing what ifs on me. Like, oh, well, what... The dog what could have been a threat. The dog could have bit him and given him rabies. I mean, there's people... Because blindly running the street, yes, while being chased by an unleashed dog charging at him. He wasn't being chased by the dog. He was walking on the street, and the dog comes running up to the edge. The dog never hit the street. Yeah, the what ifs don't hold up. I know I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, but this shit pisses me off. This is the kind of shit that pisses me off. Because this is indicative of how they feel about other things. And like this guy I've been arguing. First of all, you're supposed to walk on the side of oncoming traffic. Yeah, it's safer because you're actually able to see the vehicles. Well, obviously he didn't see the vehicle. And on a small little street like this, where it's basically a one-way, that's not safe. Because the people park on the side of the road right there. That's basically a one-way. If two cars are coming like this, they're all over the place where I walk. So I walk these kind of places all the time. Yeah. That car wasn't going fast. People are like, oh, the car's going fast. And I said, the dog was on the homeowner's property. That isn't chasing someone. Maybe don't walk down the street on oncoming traffic when there isn't a sidewalk. The dog never touched the man. That's what I said. Oh, what are you, a commie? And this guy says the person clearly lying about the dog touching the street. The dog touching the street is irrelevant. It's irrelevant. The dog did not get 10 feet to the man. He started running when the dog got into the driveway. That doesn't mean that you just run into an oncoming car. It looks almost staged, that part of the video. That's how fucking stupid it is. And one guy was like, oh, if it was a burning building, you wouldn't call the fire a threat, and you would probably say that nobody should jump off of a burning building. I mean, people are just stupid. Get your eyes checked. The dog clearly followed him into the street. What the fuck delusion are you looking at? Let's relook at. The dog never followed this man into the street. The dog never followed that man into the street. That man started running. That man hit the car. That man ran into the car before the dog got to the edge of the driveway. You can look at it again. There's no clearly about it. Right there, the car is hitting the man. Where is the dog? The dog has already stopped. The dog already stopped right here. The dog did his job. The dog came to the edge of the property. That is not the street. This man is 1 foot from being hit by this car. It's unavoidable at this point. I know I'm going on about something that seems trivial, but it's not. These things aren't trivial to me. I get this all the time. I had a dog chase me on my bike a couple weeks ago, and the owner was standing in the owner was walking the dog and the dog got away, and the dog chased me on my bike. But I didn't panic. I didn't just go, oh my God, look at this dog. I don't care about oncoming danger that might kill me. I'm going to go ahead. Yeah. If you react like this, you shouldn't be out in public. No one has ran directly into a car. It almost looks like a stage stunt. Yeah, so, and this guy blindly run into the street? Yes. The owners are still at fault. No. On top of that, the dog is, if this were a child, the dog would be at fault. No, the parents would be at fault for allowing their children to walk in the middle of the street in the oncoming traffic. Yeah, you're wrong on every count, moron. But look who I'm talking. I mean, look who I'm arguing with. This dude. But I'm actually been arguing with this guy right here. Adult gamer on Adopt Me. What? Looking for more chill adult gamers. Roblox. Adult gamer on Adopt Me. What the fuck is Adopt Me? He goes, says the person clearly lying about the dog touching the street. What does the dog touching the street have to do with anything? So he supposedly got me with a gotcha here where he zoomed in, and that is not the street. The dog is already stopped here. The dog isn't chasing. This guy's already been hit. The dog is here now. The dog is here up in the driveway. The dog was smarter than the man. The dog didn't run into the street because of the car. This guy has already been on the hood of the car right here, been smoked. And the dog is already halfway back up the driveway. Yeah. The dog never touched the man. Sorry. I said that's the edge of the driveway. Once again, courts base things on facts, not what ifs. So that was my little back and forth with that moron. But it's just indicative of how people think now. It's crazy. It's really scary. It's one of the problems coming up with the generations now. People are like, oh, you're just overreacting. No, this is indicative of the problems this nation is going to fucking have. Now, yeah, I mean, you can make an argument that, yeah, the dog should be, the dog probably shouldn't be running loose if, you know what I mean? They think feeling like they're better than you makes them actually better than you. And feeling like they're outraged about the guy getting hit by a car. They don't look at the actual reality of the event that led to it. The man's stupidity is what got him killed there. Or not killed, but smoked. It looks staged to me. The second part of that video looks like somebody doing a stunt. Because I just don't see how you know. I don't know. Anyway. That shit was pissing me off. Yeah, and I watched a video. You posted that thumbnail of that Riley Gaines and Leah Thomas and that other girl, all with the strong chin lines, that she'd been training for swimming. I actually watched the video on that. Look, it's just going to take all the women, not just these two. It's going to just take all the girls competing that think they have a shot at winning to just say, screw it, we're not doing it anymore. You can have all the dudes playing cosplay, dress up. They really are mocking us. They're mocking society. Yeah. It's just just for the sake of doing it. There's no way, shape, or form I'm ever going to concede reality. Sorry, I don't concede reality to insanity. It's not going to be done. I don't care. But it's going to just take two, and they're acting like these two are the outliers. Like they're the two being. It's going to take everybody doing it saying, look, enough of this. Yes. Here, we don't want to offend anyone, so I guess here, have my daughter. Like that one lady said, well, a person's a trans person's rights are more important than your right to compete in a athletic competition. No, it's not. For one, there is no right. There's no such thing as trans rights. Doesn't exist. I can't just arbitrarily make up some kind of horse shit and then people don't buy into it and say, well, you're stomping on my rights. People and their fucking rights. Yeah, they don't understand the concept of what a right is. A right isn't granted to you by something, and a right cannot be taken away. That's an actual, in reality, that's an actual right. Yeah, that's just called being able to participate in something. Yeah. Women's events, biological males should not be allowed to participate in biological female designated events. It's just reality. It's just fucking. That's why you divide the two. I know all this is just common sense, but that's why you divide the two. Period. Fucking stupid ass people, man. I kind of wanted to show this video, but I kind of don't because it's somebody else's. Hold up on that. Hold up on. Oh,
yeah.
Oh, let me turn. What are you eating?
Oh, you can hear me eating?
Yeah. No, it's just the way you were talking. I can't hear you eating. I just clearly you had sausage in your mouth or something. I'm just kidding. But I'm just joking. Dude, those
eating contest. That hoe.
Those erotic hoes on the newscast, man. I was getting,
I don't know if she was like half Asian or something.
Yeah.
Or Asian, but she's all like,
they're pretty hot.
Eating. Oh,
Yeah.
Eating. I'm like, what are you swallowing?
Writing? Yeah, writing,
Yeah,
sausage
like,
writing. Okay, now you got my
Jesus.
attention. Now you're the most trusted name in news.
It's what we thought. You're just confirming it. Okay, great.
Right.
But yeah, she made it worse. She wouldn't stop.
Fuck yeah,
but,
she made it worse, but I liked it.
Yeah, well, she did too. So,
but clearly we know where their heads are at. You know what I mean?
on
Jesus.
that trans thing. Look, one of my nieces did softball, right?
Mhm.
She could have gotten an athletic scholarship for A&M, full right. Like it would have been perfect. She didn't take it. I was so
What the
upset.
fuck?
I know, but imagine if during their state, like they didn't win, but they went to competition. Imagine if they had gotten to the last, round, and it's a bunch of dudes
Of course.
in wigs, and all those girls get screwed over in scholarship because she had been playing since she was like in elementary school.
Yeah.
She basically had a career in sports already.
Right.
Because she had done years of it.
Mhm.
More than a lot of people. You know how it is for sports. Any child,
Of course.
male or female. Yeah, they basically do more in that period of time, and they have a strict regimen they have to follow and all that.
Mhm.
And she was a pitcher. She's badass. She did great. But yeah, and then all of a sudden, some dudes who can't hack it show up in wigs and decide
And make a mockery of the
scholarships.
entire fucking thing. Yeah, they just make a mockery.
It's worse than a mockery.
Right.
Because at that point,
But at that point, they're actually
They're
stealing.
taking money.
It's
Yeah, they're
stealing at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
it's the same thing.
the
like
acceptance
affirmative
of it is a mockery, but the actual act is basically you're being coerced and forced to give up something to these people.
Very similar to affirmative action.
Yeah.
Where you're taking away from somebody else that actually has the merit
Merit.
because
Yes.
you feel bad.
A merit within.
I felt bad because a long time ago on a land far, far away. Wait, that's our own land. But either way, the point is, a long time ago, I'm currently suffering because of a long time ago. No, let's look at Chicago. Let's look at Baltimore. 20 shot, 2 dead.
Right.
Or 30 shot. I'm sorry. I gave him.
You give him too much credit.
Let me give him the numbers. Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't give him enough credit. Is actually what it is.
Yeah.
I'm like, at this point, just wall off that city or parts of the city and let them do whatever they're going to do.
I said that. I said that to my parents yesterday.
They're going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So why do we have to be responsible for fixing them? Because everyone's crying over that Baltimore thing. Did you see that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
They're all crying about that. I know this is a twist away from
because it was during some festival or some thing or something. My mom and dad we were talking about that yesterday. Yeah.
Just fucking block parties.
Block parties. Yeah.
100, like, where are the 100 white people out there doing a block? Where are the 100 Hispanics? 100 Asians out there at 1 a.m. in the morning shooting each other.
Right. It's not happening. It's not happening.
I wonder why. It's a cultural thing. And
100.
These same people that cry about the police and cry about the government shafting them, then cry, oh, the mayor has to fix it. They can't fix it. They got to do it themselves.
Right.
We're past politicians fixing anything. It's way past.
Politicians don't fix anything. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Let's pretend they did.
Right. Right. But they're raised to believe that it's always somebody else's responsibility. Yeah.
It's a full cultural family.
Yes.
It's like
generational.
Your family.
Yes.
You got to fix your street. And if you can't do it, no one else, it ain't going to happen. There's no police because you don't want police anyway.
Right. So, they don't want the police. They had contempt for the police. Yeah.
Yeah, they think police come off of like the racist tree.
Right.
But the reality is they come from the city, They come from everyone.
They've seen the evidence.
They don't go into like a Nazi war machine and come out like super Nazi soldier.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know what they're thinking.
It's based on experience. It's not racism. It's based on the experience they've had trying to do their job. That's what it's based on. It's not based on the color of anybody's skin. It just so happens to fall into those parameters at a certain time. Now I'm generalizing a little bit, but they don't. It's mind-boggling to me. But it's generations of people that have been raised that it's always somebody else's responsibility to make sure that everything's hunky-dory. It's somebody else's responsibility. We can't be. It's like that running into the street there when you see a dog. And then the people are going, "Oh my God, that's the dog." No, that doesn't absolve anybody.
Responsible for my bad behavior.
Right. Exactly. Right.
I have no
panic, carelessness, or whatever. It's somebody else. It's unbelievable, man.
Yeah,
It's
like. I was on the other side of, no, that dog stopped. I agree with the guy. I think the dog stopped because of the impact. But then when you start talking about it being staged, I was like, it does look really weird.
It does look weird.
This guy is like some kind of stunt. I even said it. I was like, I think you left, and I was talking to Watusi and Phil. I said, this guy does look like he's a stunt actor or something, because I was like, look at him. This motherfucker got up and jumped all in another vehicle.
It's almost like it was like slickly edited, that part, like you know what I mean, like it's
I've never seen a Ring camera. This is weird, and I'm not saying it can't happen, but I've never seen a Ring camera tilted like that, because the Ring cameras are on the door,
right?
So why would it be?
That's what I'm saying. I said the exact same thing.
Of G.com. Now the dog, I think is irresponsible, sure, but we don't even know if that's the dog that belongs to that house.
Right. 100%. It could have been that's a good point as well. Yep.
Now, I know we're bullshitting, but there are people on Twitter that they feel entitled to judge everything as if they have the authority. That's what I was saying. They think they have the moral high ground on you. So they feel like however they feel. That's the thing. It's the feelings.
Yes.
That's all it is. I feel that I'm looking out for humanity.
Yes.
And I'm a good person.
Therefore,
and you disagree with me, so you're a terrible right winger.
Right.
It's
exactly.
like, wait a second.
You're the Nazi because I feel
where'd that even come from? We're talking about a dog and a man.
Right,
and
exactly.
All of a sudden I'm a Nazi.
I was breaking it down as what I thought a court would see it, like how it would be handled in a court. And I don't see a homeowner being responsible for the man. Now, they might fine the homeowner for not having their dog on a leash, but he's not going to be responsible for that man getting smoked by that car. That's
the
not,
other thing.
yeah.
Don't know the city, don't know the county,
Don't know.
the state.
Right, exactly.
Don't even really know if it's in America. It probably is, but
Yep. 100%.
Why does that? I mean, is the guy blind? Is he partially blind? How could he not?
He
see the
almost
car?
had to have been, it seemed like.
How could he not
but
see the car?
yeah. I argued for days, not just days, but every day I'd make a little post, argue with this one or two guys on there. But they just can't believe it. You know, you could sue that homeowner and all that. Yeah, get the fuck out of it. And then sue the driver. They were wanting the driver to be held responsible for that.
Oh,
really?
I was like, the dog owner and the driver. I'm
Yeah.
like, holy shit. It's literally everyone else's fault, huh?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah, it's crazy.
What about the guy is responsibility for his own safety?
No, absolutely not. You're supposed to just be able to walk around impervious to anything bad that would happen to you.
You know what would have helped that guy?
A brain?
Gun.
A gun.
No, if he had a
I
gun.
said that was my first 100. And shoot it. If you're that worried about, instead of panic, that was my very first thought when I watched that video. Wow, if he was that scared of a dog, because I don't run from dogs.
And then we learned as kids.
Yeah.
Like, shit, I watch people all the time. The dog across the street he just goes wherever he wants.
Right.
But he goes after people that look like they're afraid. That's the other thing too.
Exactly.
Like, he's never come at me, and some people would just walk by, but the dog.
I've never been chased by a dog that can take my life. All right. Now, if it was a gigantic Saint Bernard with dripping foam, okay, I'm going to give that one up. Or maybe a giant German Shepherd that's going to just tear me limb to limb, maybe. But I can hold my own. I'm not going to be killed. I'm probably going to be killed if I run into a car blindly, panicking. But it's a good chance. But a dog's not going to get me. I might get scarred up. But I can fight a dog. You know what I mean?
Hey, maybe that guy was drunk. Maybe he was on drugs.
Maybe he was on drugs.
Anything.
There you go. It seemed like it was. Seemed like he was very paranoid to run.
He was very methy.
And it's not even a big dog. It's not a big dog. Yeah. So give me a break.
Yeah.
Give me a break, people. So yeah, it's indicative of how people are feeling about feelings over actual common sense. You know what I mean?
That's why I started calling it the age of mommy power.
Exactly.
Be careful. Be careful now. This might happen. Be careful.
And they live in what ifs. What if? What if? Screw your what ifs. Anyway, I want to look at this. I've been watching this Taylor the Fiend. I've been watching that channel for years, man. I've been watching his videos when he had like 30,000 subscribers. I haven't watched all of them, but
yeah, I just was laughing at that. Basically, they're just delusional. What's new? I just thought it was funny comedy.
Sometimes the stresses of rating and providing for people. Is this a parody? I mean, am I supposed to feel so? Hold on. Is she making fun of people that are on TikTok doing this stuff? Does it ever get easier? It was your decision to have 4 kids. Right off the bat.
Being single in your 30s is a whole
I can't even tell anymore.
I talk a lot about like dating on my page, especially.
You know why? Because they don't believe it either.
And so I
right.
touch on
the women
why
don't believe it
dating as a
either.
single mom is so
They're like
freaking
trying to
hard.
convince themselves or something at the same
It's
time.
really pushed me to the decision of not dating.
That
anymore.
one's got filters on. I
just
hate
feel
that
like
crap.
Oh,
not only
yeah.
do I have to obviously
You can
think
tell
of
because like the
myself
white of the
when I'm
eyes.
dating,
Oh,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
The lashes. and
100%.
Teeth to look weird,
Yep.
like some kind of Disney character.
Like CGI'd in. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Like, if you
skip
can't
that part.
present yourself as
why
what
dating
you
as a single
actually are.
mom
This is why that's
so
trans stuff.
freaking
I'm
hard.
not. I can't get on board with, because you're trying to lie to reality.
Well, of
You're
course.
trying to lie to people about what you are, because you can't accept yourself.
Right. So
you need everyone to change our perception.
everyone
of
has
reality
to buy
to
into
align with
your
yours.
delusion.
There you go.
The world
Yep.
does not work that way. It never has. Hey, do I wish the world worked that way? Sure. I'd go around every day fucking making outrageous claims about myself, and then you're forced to buy into those claims that I made. Oh, I'd love that shit. Yeah. Oh yeah. I'd love to live in fantasy la la land. Fuck out of here. Oh, look at the crazy eyes. I mean, she's of course she's got the filters on, like you said. It's obvious. But she's hot, but I mean, start an OnlyFans, lady. Take pictures of your asshole and put them up on the thing. You'll make six figures.
It even turns out with that stuff that's a bunch of BS. That the OnlyFans, barely any of them actually make money.
It's basically like it's the same percentage of people that get called up to the major leagues baseball. You know what I mean? Very few percentage make it big on there. You know.
Well, it's the same as everything else. If you got in there first, you probably made a little bit of money,
and you actually have some. Right.
Yeah, for the first month you might make something. After that, it's a massive fall off.
Yeah, but there are some that have been doing it that make really good money doing it. You know, they make a very good living doing it. Like, it's made them financially. But then you see them on a TikTok video and they're driving some fucking elaborate car. That money ain't gonna last. They're not wise with their money. You know, it's like the porn stars that are fucking broke now. And
I don't think there's that many women that actually make that much money.
Oh, it's a very small percentage, Janser. I know that. Yeah, it's a very, very minute. It's like Twitch streamers, the hot tub Twitch streamers.
This is why I hate marketing, or when I was doing anything with YouTube or Twitch, is you have to lie about how successful you are or how great your stream. That's why my stuff was never about like, hey, this is me. I'd be like, I don't know, boring ass shit here.
I just do it off the
that became a popular thing too. Oh, I'm trash, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, I can't even. You can't even represent yourself in any way because some desperate piece of shit.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It's like, all right, well, if you just put the factual truth out there, no one wants that.
Right. Exactly. That's funny. But,
like what you put, random live stream. That's exactly what it is. But in order to get views, you'd have to be like, look at these 304s, you know?
Right, exactly. Yeah, I'm not doing it to get, you know what I mean?
It's a gimmick.
Yeah, it's just something to do, you know?
Yeah.
You know, kind of break up the monotony of the day or whatever.
Dude, I've shown you these to other Discords, like buddies, and they're like, these things are fucking great. Like, this one guy's like, I'm right there with y'all. And I'm like, I know that the opinions are the same out there for a lot of men. It's just a matter of like, you know, if you want to have the stuff seen, you have to play the game.
Exactly.
And I fucking hate playing
the game. Go through the production and all that. I'm not good at it. For two, I don't have the conviction to do it. And you know what I mean? Yeah, or consistency or conviction. It's not that important to me. It just would never be that important to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would never try to rely on something. I'm a lot of things. Delusional is not one of them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I test it out. If I'm getting success, I'm like, okay, I take
right.
It
steps. Was never gonna. Yeah.
Educated risks is what I do. You know. And if it's not, then I'm like, okay, this is not meant to. I'm not going to put 500 hours into getting slightly successful.
Exactly.
It's just not going to.
It's not.
Happen.
I would rather work 500 hours at my job that I know I get paid for. And
you probably don't remember, but on live streams, I used to say that people would be like, "Oh, I did. I tipped you $5," and I'm like, "Look, don't tip me any money. I make way more per hour
exactly than ever."
And
right?
Like, "Oh, that's insulting," and I'm like, Is it really?
It's not insulting. It's called reality. Yeah, it's just called
wasting your fucking money.
Exactly.
I ain't here for your
Right.
$5.
Exactly.
Sorry to break your heart, but I make like 75 an hour. I'm not here for your 5.
Mhm.
It's ain't gonna do. You ain't gonna change my life. You
To
want
me,
change my
it's-
life? Throw 100,000 down.
To me, it's yeah. To me, it's fun. It's just something fun to do. I don't give a shit about anything. I'd rather.
Yeah.
I just I go to work. I know my place. I don't.
Look at that tweet I put in the post. Some shit.
Oh, let me.
It's
Why
sad
doesn't it
because
show
it's
the?
real.
Oh! I saw this other
Twitter thing.
Yeah. Drinking bros. Okay, we got 2 Rachels on the top. I know that those 2 are Rachels.
Mm-hmm.
That one, the one on the right, the one on my right is this one. That's a major.
Mm-hmm.
In the, I mean, what the fuck is going
These
on?
are all real. The guy in the dog mask, he's an army guy. I think he's army or marine. I can't remember exactly.
What?
But I saw the story on that. Yeah, this is our military.
I just don't get it. I don't understand. What would fucking General Patton think? Oh my fucking God, dude.
He'd probably not say anything, have a meeting, or walk up to their office, shoot him in the head,
and then be in prison the rest of his life, and he'd be good with that. Yeah,
absolutely.
Where are the great strong? Oh God, we need a return to that, man. We need a return to that shit. This guy just says disgusting. It is disgusting. It's embarrassing. I mean, this is the problem. We're allowing such weakness. You can be whoever you want to be, but don't parade your fucking delusions out and expect people to be okay with this. I mean, these people are oh my God, dude. We are fucked.
Oh yeah. Like one of the ex-military guys that I follow, I think he was, I don't know if he was a Ranger or SEAL. Either way, he was saying that they missed the recruitment by 25%. It's the worst year since Vietnam War.
Oh my God.
They started pulling people in mandatory, right? So drops in physical standards, mandatory vax, focus on individualism and not team. What do you expect?
What do you expect?
To our national security is a weak military.
Yes.
Everybody fucking knows that.
We're fucked.
And with Bo Jiden in there, just, hey, let's go to war. Yeah, great. That's what Democrat knows how to do.
And my mom loves him.
Make an opportunity for money. That's all he's trying to do. He don't give a shit about war. They just know money's in it. That's all.
My mom loves him.
Oh my God.
My dad and I are just I love my mom. Great person. The older she gets, the more like empathy she's starting to have. You know what I mean? Which I understand.
That happens.
Yeah, it happens. But she has a serious case of Trump delusion. Oh, she hates Donald Trump. I mean, you can't. But she likes Joe Biden. But she used to hate Bill Clinton. And I'm like, there's really not any difference between the corruption of Bill Clinton and Joe Biden. You know what I mean? It's I tried to steer the conversation. My dad said when my mom was gone with my sister, I was sitting with my dad talking for about an hour because I don't bring up politics. Because David, I don't bring up politics, and your mother has lost it. I said my mom's the one that used to be like anti-government and didn't like big government, and she had Ayn Rand and and all, she taught me all that stuff. And what has happened? He goes, well, the years have gone by, and I'm like, okay, never mind, change the subject. So anyway, my dad likes, my dad, of course, he's a Trump, he goes, I don't care what he does. He's a shrewd businessman, and the nation needs more people in charge like that project strength. I said, exactly,
Yeah.
Yep.
On her own, my mom I never talk politics with her. I didn't used
I don't
to,
either. I don't either.
but
Yeah.
on her own, my mom likes Trump. And
Yeah.
that's after knowing everything that's been said about him and all that stuff. She sees the good stuff
yeah.
that he's done, and that's all because we're not people that look to others for what we need anyway.
Right, exactly.
So it's like, okay, he's doing
and my
good for
parents
great.
don't either. My
I don't
parents
need something from him, but if he's doing good for the economy and keeping us out of wars, that's good because we don't need him to screw with our individual lives. We don't need a president to do that.
Right.
At the federal level, they shouldn't be touching us.
They shouldn't.
You know?
And that's what
very limited.
That's the way my mom used to operate, but she has flip-flopped. So, I was like, okay. And my sister can't believe it either. And my mom and my sister are tight. But my sister won't try to upset my mom right now. You know, my mom's 83, and my sister walks on eggshells about but my sister, it's like, don't talk about stuff like that.
She's already,
it's not worth it. Exactly. It's not worth 100%. So anyway, about that. Yeah, but dude, I can't stand to look at this shit anymore. That thing you posted, I'm sorry, it's making my stomach sick.
Yeah, I don't know why you still have it up on the screen.
Yeah, I know. I was looking for the thing to click off of I was looking for the X, and I was like, where is it? Where is it? Oh, man. Yeah. Why dating as a single mom is so hard? Well, for one, why having all these kids out of wedlock? I mean, I don't get it. Why?
Yeah, who's that blonde there? I mean, cute face, the blonde, and then I read the thing, 4 kids. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah,
you can't trust anything. You can't trust anything. You know.
It's okay. This lady just keeps talking and talking. Maybe
well, I mean, what are they? Come on.
Seeing who he really is. Not to say that any of my exes have hurt my
children. Then there's another one with a big old gap tooth, and I'm like, oh, Jesus.
Earlier, I saw that.
Fucking teeth fixed.
Yeah.
Jesus. Right. So you ain't that attractive, you know.
Are you talking about this lady at the beginning? But she's just showing herself crying.
Gap. No, there was.
Yeah, there's the next one. Yeah. Not everything is hearts and rainbows. When
looks like a okay looking.
Well, yeah.
Woman, and then you see that she's got 4 kids, and you're like, Jesus, let me run.
Sometimes doing everything you can just isn't enough. Did you really do everything you can?
I guarantee she's not doing anything on her own at all. Because my little sister's got 2 girls. She's on her own. Literally the father is in their lives. She's not stupid.
Right.
So they have joint, you know, that he provides.
But she's never been married, right?
Oh no, she was married.
Oh, they were married, but they're split.
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Twice. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so she still does the right things for the kids. She, you know what? Choice of schooling. She homeschooled for the majority, and then they took them to a charter school, because even though she's poor, she's not stupid.
Right.
You know.
Right.
Even though she doesn't have, you know, whatever, she still does things relatively logically. You know.
Gotcha.
There's always things we would love for her to do, but you got to live your own life and figure your own shit out too. So
right.
Hard to. At least she's not like, you know, I got only 4 kids and crying on videos.
That's what I'm saying. What are you trying to? I mean,
she works and she homeschooled, and now she chartered, and she make the girls first, and they see all the family and she's not trying to disassociate herself from her. My little sister gets a lot of help from everybody, and I guarantee this woman does too.
Right. Oh yeah, 100%.
With 4 kids, she's living off the state real easy.
Yeah, but But here's the thing: is she's sitting here like now? Some guys, this would make them feel empathetic and oh god, we got to help the Captain Save-A-Ho basically. Yeah. But I don't. When I see this kind of stuff, that's a turn off to me.
It's hard. You know what? It's hard to break. To me, I think a lot of guys we do have that. It's part of being a man. You have that built-in defensive, you know, hey, I'm a defender, I'm a fighter.
Right.
This is what we do. We're strong. Right. We have the ability to do what's right. And so we see some woman, you know, that, you know, is crying as long as she looks pretty, you know, decent.
Right. Right.
And we're going to be like, oh, well, you know, what can I do? What's going on? You know, maybe, you know, it takes a while to break us out of that, because we've eventually learned that they've changed. They've turned on us. they've changed the social contract.
Yes.
You know, and we can't be the same. We can't be as compassionate and as forgiving as we used to be. We have to see reality, you know, because I'm definitely one of those guys that, like, I hate to see some woman in, you know, that's going through something, but I've learned now it's a lot of crocodile tears as they call it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yep.
And
Yeah, I mean, I married
I
married a girl that had kids. You know what I mean? That she was divorcing her. She had been married once and had kids by the same guy, you know, and had one of her kids in high school. I was married to her for 11 years. It wasn't like that though. She didn't come at me like, I need somebody to raise my, no, she was, I'm good on that. You know, it was different things, but she would never make a video. Yeah. They're like, I'm a single mom, or you know, that's fine. I mean, single mom's fine, but
these ones just want someone to do everything for them.
Exactly.
So
They're looking for
Dreamland for whatever the fuck.
If you would interview this woman, she'd be like, "Well, he's got to make $150,000 a year because I'm worth it. I'm a queen," and I'm like, "Oh boy, how about just two people working together to make a life that's manageable?" You know what I mean? Instead of everybody's trying to live up to some kind of thing that you see online from people, you know, on TikTok where they're driving their fancy cars and they interview these girls. They'll like, I like when they have these dudes that go down like the street at night. Like by a club or something. They interview these girls. What are you looking for in a man? Oh, he's got to make $250,000 a year and all. And they're all like 5s and 6s out of 10s if you're going to rate them. You know what I mean? And all these women think that they're fucking owed this shit. And I'm like, how many men do you think are out there percentage wise that make that kind of money that would be interested in you and your kids? It just doesn't make any sense. I mean,
it's rough in my city. I got 3s and 4s that think they're fucking 8s and 10s in San Antonio, Texas. Who was that guy that was like, they're a bunch of fat hoes down in San Antonio? He was not wrong at all. He was speaking truth.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
It was at Barkley, I think, right? Oh, he's number one on my list. That's a man right there.
What, Charles Barkley?
I think it was Barkley that said that. A bunch of fat women in San Antonio, Texas.
Bunch of fat hoes. Hey, Chuck.
Correct.
Yeah,
I know that, but there was like a list of like cities with the highest amount of like cheating were like number 2, baby.
Oh,
because
really?
They got no fucking morals. They got no
right.
They think they're, like I said, they think they're 8s and 10s. They're fat, obese, like obese with like 3, 4, 5, 6 kids, and they think that they're all that shit. Oh my god! When I tried those dating apps back in the day, it was like, what the hell? I'm gonna extend my range to like other cities because fuck this place, it sucks.
Other cities.
Terrible. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, I'll
other planets. Yeah.
To Austin. I'll go to Houston. You know?
I'll go to Saturn. Is there any single women on Saturn I can?
It's Dallas, exactly.
Yeah.
I found out it's about 5 hours.
That's crazy, man.
Dude, it's some terrible slim. And the shitty thing is for men and the women is they're playing into it. So the dudes will go like, yeah, I'll get some of that, you know, whatever, hit it and quit it kind of thing, right?
Right.
And then the women are like, oh yeah, I'll go ahead and go for the dudes that are, you know, they're playing the game. That's the problem. You're playing the game. The more you play the game, you're just going to get game players. That's it.
Right.
Everybody knows that. But they think they're going to get something different out of it. They're not.
Right.
You gotta, it's like one guy was saying is like, when guys, you know, get out of a relationship, maybe they work on themselves, maybe they make more money, maybe they work out, you know, they do something. When women get out of a relationship, they just go look for the next dude.
Right. Oh, yeah. It's called monkey branching. Yeah. It's a monkey swinging from branch to branch. Yeah.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah. Monkey. You know, there's a guy on YouTube that has a channel that just talks about staying away from these women that you're talking about. And he coined the phrase monkey branching. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that term. That's
they just go from one. Yeah. Yep. It's hilarious.
Oh, what's this? What's this fascism?
Gavin Newsom. Here, let me actually click on it to make it a little. Yeah, I haven't listened to the whole spiel here. Hold on. Oh shit, that's loud.
It's hard to listen to him.
It's very hard. Oh, it's music going. Stick it to the ban. Okay. Okay, let me dissect this real quick. He says that there's how many books? Over 1,200 books banned or challenged. No, they're not banned.
This isn't really saying anything. I don't know what they're talking about.
He's in Boise, Idaho here, looking through. He's trying to do a gotcha on conservatism, supposedly. You know, Gavin Newsom. He's all about this insanity horse shit. Progressive. Over 1,200 books banned or challenged. No, they're challenged to be put in taxpayer-funded public schools where children have access to them. Young children. That is the challenge of these books. And every year, the books go through a vetting process before they're supposedly vetted, before they're put into public taxpayer schools. So little kids aren't watching How to Give a Blowjob to Your Boyfriend, shit like that. And he's calling that banned or challenged. It's been happening for decades and decades and decades.
And that's the gotcha, because that's why I said I don't know what's going on here, because the tweet is vanilla. I don't really know. It's playing off emotion once again. Oh, banned. What are they banned for? What's
yeah, and they don't challenge the false narrative. The word banned is not even in play here. Yeah.
Right. They need to say what content the books are.
They ain't going to do that because they're relying on the emotion, like you just said. Yep. They have to keep the emotion rising to the top. If the context takes the emotion out of it. So that's the way these fascists operate, man.
What are the replies? What do they
say? Yeah. Well, here's mine. Imagine being stupid enough to call a restriction on what explicit material young children can access in public taxpayer-funded schools a ban. That's not a ban. That's called a vetting process, and it should be done. You can go out and buy these books at a bookstore as an adult all you want. That book isn't banned. That is, if the government said you're not allowed to own this book, that's a ban. But no one's being told that.
Right. Yeah, they're blowing it out of like usual.
Yeah. So this person says, you want your kids read. This is why they don't challenge. This is why I kind of think conservatives are in bed with these people, the politicians, because they don't challenge the root of the false narrative. They keep cutting the leaf off of they keep cutting the top of the weed instead of pulling the root out. Because my first thing to Gavin Newsom is, please give me the definition of something being banned. And he would blah, 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 go on with his spiel. And I'd be like, nothing's being banned, you idiot. That's not what a ban means. A child porn store. Somebody said.
Yeah, that one above it, they're talking about it being some porn-related book that she's reading, or
when
whatever.
The media smears Texas for banning books, listen to what she reads here, and you can tell me if you're okay with kids having access to it. Look, if a parent wants to buy their kids this at home, fine, you can do that. It's not banned. That's not what a ban means.
Access. Exactly.
Yeah, but when it's talking about taxpayer-funded public school libraries, yes, it needs to be vetted. All that shit needs to be vetted. Sure. Yeah.
Yep.
The problem is the people doing the vetting have been infiltrated, the groups, by these crazies that want.
Well, it always goes back to, I don't want to look like an asshole here. That's, in my opinion, that's what it always goes back to.
100%.
Because they don't want to actually. Then this goes back to the other thing of not calling things what they are, using soft language to.
Well, it's deceptive language.
Yeah, it's to obscure, to obfuscate what we're actually talking about.
Right.
Because they don't care about that. They just want the feelings of outrage.
Yes.
So you're on their side.
Right.
Well, you wouldn't do this to a child. Well, of course not. Why would I do that? Oh, okay.
They
Well,
want
what
the
are we
pot
talking about
boiling.
exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah. What exactly are we talking about? Yeah.
They don't want to tell you what the contents of the pot is. They just want the pot boiling. You know what I mean?
That's ask any questions. I'm sorry. Yeah. Let me. Yeah. Bad. Yeah.
See, and look, this is what you get right here. The GOP at work. No, these are government officials telling no one can read this stuff. This is against the national, they're doing this on a national level. They're saying that no, we won't allow anyone to read this stuff. No one is acting like the fucking propaganda wing of the Third Reich by saying little kids. We want to make sure we inspect what little kids are looking at. And this is some idiot, the GOP at work. Give me a break, man.
Yeah, it's just really easy to throw mud.
Yeah.
But, we've known that.
Burbank.
It's up to people to do some work on their own, too.
Burbank banned well-known titles as Huckleberry Finn. But you know who was banning those? The liberals wanted those books banned.
Exactly.
Because it would offend somebody.
It's got the N-word in it.
It's got the N-word in it. Well, we had that. We had all these books here that they're talking about. Killabonky Bird and Mice and Men. I don't know what the K is, or Roll of Thunder. I don't know that. But we had all these classic books. John Steinbeck, Twain, Harper Lee. We had all these books in our library at school, and everybody was fine with it. It wasn't until you started worrying about people's feelings, and that came from the left. That didn't come from conservative right.
Yeah, I wonder if anybody mentions that in the replies.
I don't know. They shouldn't be banned at all, but Democrats ban them anyways. They don't want kids to learn to think.
Somebody did mention it. See, Democrats brand them.
Yeah, but Democrat. Yeah, exactly. This was because it was offensive language. So don't throw this GOP shit
out there. Yeah, there are some people out there that are countering the nonsense.
Oh yeah, there's definitely people countering
surface level. Then you're never going to know, and that's why people that don't want to have to look into anything. They do what that idiot did in the beginning there. Here's the GOP at work. It's like, that's not reality.
That's not reality. For one, conflating conservatism with this horse shit that fucking regime did is unbelievable.
I actually agree with that one there where they said either side will
Either side. I was about ready to say that. I was about ready. It's this right here. The left and right are both happy to ban books and engage in liberal censorship when it reinforces their priors. But here's the problem with that. It's still not a ban. It's vetting the school libraries for kids. Yeah. It's still not banning. You can still get those books if you're an adult, you can still buy those books. So the ban just
what you said.
Yeah.
They're not actually arguing the correct stuff.
Exactly.
Anymore.
It's false narrative. It's a false narrative from the get-go. Yeah, exactly. Right. So,
and that's part of the playbook of leftist related stuff of like, we don't even care what you're talking about. We're going to nitpick something else that has, and we're going to run you down a route. So you're all kind of twisted up and we never actually talk about what you're talking about. Yeah.
This guy banned by Dems for racism. Exactly. So exactly. So
is that a hidden comment?
No, it's just down. It might have been. It's just down the road a little bit 2 hours ago. So I just hate that. And they don't actually test them on the fucking root of their lie. That's what gets me. You know what I mean? It's like, they'll want to sit there and sling mud, but they won't actually call out the actual root of the lie of the premise. The premise is wrong. There's no ban. So anyway,
right.
Richard Gere. Oh jeez. But anyway, that's kind of my what I was. I don't know if you had anything else.
I post all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I know you do.
I stop myself from posting stuff. There's
just some of the comic books.
California Insider one. California City defunded its police. They were happy about it.
Oh yeah. Let me go back to. I did not. Before
It's a short one. It's like
where was that one at on yours?
It's in post some shit.
Oh,
it's
okay.
a little bit up. It's not that far up. Oh yeah, Netflix and Warner. You don't have to even
fire diversity bosses. Yeah, we just real quick. Fake, like Eric July said, that's fake job. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They what is that thing from Office Space? We fixed the glitch. we didn't fire anyone.
So Milton has been let go. No. Hold on, Professor. Hold on a second, Professor. No, we fixed, like you said, we fixed the glitch, so it'll naturally just
work itself out, or whatever he says. Yeah.
Somebody made a funny comment. They said her job was to be black. That was her job.
Couldn't even do that right.
Like, what's your job here at this company? To be black. That's my job.
You got to click on that one most offensive video ever. That's just funny.
Wait, hold on. Where is it?
Yeah. It's in your posts. Some shit. It's not that far up. It's like above the There's the California.
Oh, okay. I don't think I read it. Let me click on this. I don't think I've looked at this.
Oh my God.
Okay.
You know why I pulled you over?
Hold on.
I was speeding?
There we
no,
go.
because you're black.
Oh my.
You got to listen to it.
Okay.
You know why I pulled you over?
Because I was speeding?
No, because you're black.
Brennan, who has Down syndrome, has wanted to be a cop since he was a kid.
You know why I pulled you over?
Because I was speeding?
No, because you're black.
Oh my God, I love it. Now, you want to include people that have, like this guy's got Down syndrome,
right,
mental retardation, whatever it is.
So he's John Fetterman. Basically, he's John Fetterman. Okay.
Only funny,
Yeah, only only this guy's got charm. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And people would be like, well, that's it's not offensive. It's great.
Yeah.
That's actual inclusion.
Right, exactly. Right. No, because you're black.
You got black people, you got retarded people. It's inclusion. It's inclusive.
Yeah.
That's a great video.
Throw merit out the window. Yeah, then we don't need. Hey, we don't care if the submersible going down to the Titanic implodes, as long as it was diverse. The people that designed it are representations of society. The diversity is our strength. Remember, we don't care if it's strong enough to hold up to 4,000 meters of fucking ocean pressure. As long as we're strong in our diversity. Oh my God, man. That is funny. I didn't watch that one. Yeah, it's shorter than I thought it was going to.
I wasn't going to waste too much time. Then the California City one is right below it. The defunded police.
Oh, we got to talk about about this Cornelius the cat lady.
Oh,
the hottie that the ASMR hottie. No, sorry.
Oh,
this hoe. Before I get to the one you
cat lady. Oh, I hate the stupid cat ear shit. I hate fake. Haven't you noticed that?
Hold on, I'll be right back.
Stupid. Those are fox ears.
Hold on. I'm just kidding. I'm not. That was supposed to be a joke, but sorry. Yeah, that's not a cat. She's got an OnlyFans. She's hot, though. All right, back to... Sorry, I got sidetracked. Let's get back to...
Can't even get the right ears.
I hate those fucking cat ear things. Oh, my God. But I like looking at other things on. Oh, shit.
You see out there in
that is loud.
Everyday small business owners and frankly residents in communities that are finding this spike over the past probably 3 to 5 years.
And I'm like, look,
crime,
dudes are going to look at you anyway.
Right. You don't need the ears.
In Southern California,
to stick a tail in your asshole.
Retail grocery store approximately 200 retail thefts per day amongst their 50 stores.
100%
a day. Yeah, I think it's important to take a step back and to realize, how did we get here? What we've seen over the past 5 to 6 years, a lot of folks really took
upstanding
law enforcement
individuals.
in a negative way.
Defund the
Right now, our
police.
policymakers are hugging more of the criminals, and one example is we saw the city of West Hollywood choose to defund a number of their sheriffs in their community about a year and a half ago.
So I've been
crime
following
increased
a lot
over
of
that
this
same
stuff,
period
and-
since they did that by 137%.
Oh my God! What do you think was going to happen?
2023, the West Hollywood City Council now voted
It's like
to
130% or
reinstitute
something.
funding for sheriffs because they
137.
realize it's a problem. Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah,
because
and it just
unfortunately,
loops
people
back.
may be vulnerable in the
So, in other words, the sun is hot and water is wet because these people, I can't believe that we have to fucking interview people that have to spell this shit out. That is, it's so ludicrous. Like today we have this city council guy here. He's explaining the fact that you defunded the police and then crime doubled.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can we get like Judge Judy to just go and be the mayor over there? Fucking, what are you talking about? That's stupid. Get out of my face. Have you ever seen her?
Yeah.
She's a bitter old lady, and I love it.
And I love it because she doesn't suffer.
Bullshit.
She doesn't suffer fools.
Yeah.
Now they might
Even if
pressure
it's for a
her,
show,
right?
Yeah, I still love it.
They might pressure her to fucking like not say the wrong things about trans people or something, but in her realm, she's not going to put up with horse shit. You know what I mean?
Right. And she might say it and be super sarcastic about it.
Exactly. Right. No, what we need, we need that one Florida sheriff. You know what I'm talking about? We will shoot you dead. Graveyard dead. You can look up the definition of graveyard dead if you want. Graveyard dead.
Yeah.
I love that guy, man.
His name's Grady.
Grady. Yeah.
Yep.
I love that guy, Janzer.
He's like that other guy that was in Louisiana that went on to the Senate, I believe.
I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about.
Dude.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't place the name, but yeah, I know. I know who.
I know that's his name.
Yeah.
It's Higgins.
Yep.
But,
from Magnum PI.
That's where he went to go die, basically, because he's no longer effective.
Right.
Once you go to be a politician, you're just gonna blow air about stuff that. What are we talking about today? Elderly people not having fans. Okay, it's a travesty to not, seriously, because I've seen him talk on things and I'm like, really, dude? You were a hard motherfucker going after criminals, saying, "Come get me," and now you got to talk about some bullshit. That
now
you
he's
probably
been
don't
reduced to
care
being
about.
a bureaucrat. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But that's what he wanted. So
yeah, that's where the money is. That's where the corruption and the money is.
The money.
I'm gonna switch to my overhead camera view here.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah, I'm gonna jump out here. We're gonna talk about comics, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna show a couple comics books, and then I got to get on with my day. I gotta hit the weights. I gotta jump rope, and I gotta go for a walk. And I've been working like crazy trying to finish up the designs of my comic book characters. I'm getting actually progress on it.
Nice.
Yeah, I've got like one or two more designs to do, but I've designed a shit ton of characters. I'm not ready to show them yet, but I've designed a shit ton of characters. I just have to now. I got to get them in the hands of a good artist.
So I'll leave you with this because Super Patriot and I were talking about it in your channel. I'll jump out, but I'm going to leave you with this, and you can just mull it over or on the stream. If Robert Downey Jr. was not,
I saw that conversation. I didn't. I breezed through it. Yeah, go ahead.
Who else would have actually carried that fucking franchise? Now I'm jumping out.
Okay. Robert Downey Jr. 100% put that fucking bag on his back, and I mean, he was a mule. He was, and it's obvious because we haven't seen him in a Marvel. We haven't seen Robert Downey Jr. in a Marvel movie since 2019. You can see what's happened. If Robert Downey Jr., he covers up a lot of sins of bad writing just because it's excellent casting. People like him. I think his personality comes over the way he does the character, that it's easy to write for. We can see that Chris Hemsworth, I love Chris Hemsworth. I mean, I think he's a good guy, but Thor, he's not got a big enough personality to carry a franchise if the writing fucking drops off the table. If the quality drops off the table, he's not big enough to fucking right that ship. Robert Downey Jr. is, unless it got like, Iron Man 3 was a terrible movie. It still did great in the box office. The whole thing, people wanted to see what happened after the Avengers. It was him going through the post traumatic experience they had in the big battle in the Avengers New York. Yeah, that was a big theme. And him like going, do I still want to be Iron Man and all that stuff in Man 3? But the actual story diverted off from like the main arc of Thanos and all that stuff. There wasn't much of that in there. People still flock to see that movie, even though they kind of now say, oh, it wasn't very good. Even Iron Man 2. Iron Man 2 is a little better if you revisit it, but Robert Downey Jr. can carry that. Chris Evans cannot. SP and I both thought they should have him into a drunk depression or something. Oh, and then redeem himself. Oh, 100%. Well, they kind of did that in number 2 because he was poisoning himself with the radium that he used, the element that he used to power the arc reactor. It was giving him blood poisoning. So he had that little thing. He'd take his blood and then the percentage. It would show the percentage of basically when he's about ready to die. But so he discovers that, but they have him go through the little. They should have followed up on that character arc more because that's a big deal in Iron Man comic books. His battle with alcohol. It was the staple of the comic books in the late 70s. That's the whole reason why War Machine came about anyway, because he was struggling with that. Demon in the bottle or whatever. So, I'm not saying anything revolutionary here or fucking everybody knows this that knows anything about Iron Man, but they should have played that. They should have been a little darker on that, but you got to have that Marvel cinematic humor in there. But that's just my opinion. I'm not really saying it right, but Robert Downey Jr. was a big cog in that wheel of making this stuff work. And you can see they are lacking anyone. Paul Rudd is up there as well because people like him, but that character is not strong enough. The Ant-Man character just doesn't resonate with people like Iron Man. It's just not it didn't come over. Yeah, clearly Black Widow. Yeah, there's no one that they have now that anybody is gravitating towards. Zero. It's not that little dumb actress that does Kamala Khan. It's definitely not Brie Larson. Chris Hemsworth. Chris Evans won't ever be in a Marvel movie again. He's done. He's let it be known it's done. He's not strong enough. He's not a strong enough star to carry it. I'm not saying he wasn't good as Steve Rogers. He was, but it's just Scarlett Johansson's just not big enough. They hit the jackpot motherlode. Jon Favreau, they owe Marvel owes its success to Jon Favreau. Period. End of story. They can say about Kevin Feige all they want. I remember seeing the online message boards back in 2005 when they were just rumbling about getting the Iron Man movie. They were talking about the Iron Man movie, and Jon Favreau was actually posting on message boards about an actual Marvel studio movie, which we know is Iron Man 1. And I went on the message board and said Robert Downey Jr. would be great casting for Tony Stark. I wasn't the only one that said that. Everybody was saying that. Not everybody, but some people were Tom Cruise. There was rumblings in the 90s that James Cameron or somebody was going to do a Iron Man movie with Tom Cruise. So Yeah, Chris Pratt's another one I forgot. Chris Pratt, people gravitate toward Paul Rudd a little bit, but he's still not Robert Downey Jr. Now, Robert Downey Jr. doesn't necessarily mean he goes off to do a different kind of genre, and it's gonna get attention, but it may not go over well because he's so entrenched in being Tony Stark now. It's like the first thing you look at now when you see Robert Downey Jr. is Tony Stark. To me, before that, when I saw Robert Downey Jr., I always thought back to the 80s movies like Johnny Be Good, and he's in Weird Science. He had small little parts. I always thought of him as that little smart, that smart aleck dude that was always picking on the But yeah, Chris Pratt, the writers put Chris Pratt into the smart ass comedy role without making the Star-Lord character. It just doesn't go over like Robert Downey Jr. Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark is just brilliant. They owe it all to Jon Favreau, because imagine if they didn't have Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, Tony Stark. You're not looking at all these movies. I mean, who would they have? It would have, say you put Tom Cruise in there. Okay, maybe it goes over. Is Tom Cruise going to want to do his own shit? It's not going to work in the end. It might go as a single, but Tom Cruise is going to want to make that his own. He's got his own production company. Look at how many Mission Impossible, is Ethan, blah, 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 whatever his name is in there. I like the Mission Impossible movies. Tom Cruise makes those happen. And he's, Tom Cruise isn't going to just like go under the Marvel banner and be okay. He's going to want to take that shit over, Yeah, he'd want, exactly. He'd want to call the shots. And, it's somebody else's production company, studio. So, yeah, I kind of glanced over you guys' back and forth on that a couple days ago. I didn't get deep into it, but what I saw you guys were saying, I agreed. And what Super Patriot said about delving more into the Depression stuff and more of a build up to War Machine, like they did in the comic books. That'd been great. Yeah, I'd be all for that. Unfortunately, they're dealing with people that aren't always knowledgeable about the comic books, Yeah, Black Panther was an absolute disgrace in my opinion. I'm sorry. I liked the way I liked him in the Civil War when they first put him in there. Milquetoast, exactly. I was like, oh man, when he gets a solo movie, it's going to be cool the way they're going to make. And I think they went off the rails on it. I just didn't. I thought it should have been more violent, darker. Not all this horse shit. Yeah, I don't know. But that's my feelings on that. I agree 100%. I agree with you 100%. Robert Downey Jr., they owe it to him. I'm sorry. That's one of those perfect casting things. Jon Favreau, as Hollywoody as he sometimes is forced to become, I would put Jon Favreau in charge of something. It's not always going to work, but I would put Jon Favreau in charge of a lot of stuff. Notice we didn't even bring up the Hulk. Well, yeah. I love Ed Norton. I like Ed Norton as an actor. He doesn't really fit that because he doesn't seem like a studio actor guy. I always looked at him as more of a smaller movie, artsy, and he wants to he's another guy that wants to call the shots. He's just not a guy that's it doesn't seem like a guy that's in Hollywood to become some established studio star. You know what I mean? I think guys like Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, Ben Affleck wanted to be he wanted to be in every movie, and Ed Norton's just not like that. And we got, I can't even remember it because I cannot stand, I don't like the actor that plays Bruce Banner in the MCU. I like the CGI part of the Hulk. I think they always do that, but will always be Kirk Lazarus for me. What do you mean oh yeah, 100%. You couldn't make that movie today, but yeah, that also was awesome. Yeah. What do you mean, an Australian guy? I mean, we need more of that shit. They need to make more of that shit in Hollywood, man. That's great. Australian guy trying to be a black guy. Oh man. And then they did that thing with Tobey Maguire, like that little hint thing. Oh, that's Phil that said that. I'm sorry, I didn't even pay attention. Hey, Phil, I didn't even pay attention to that. What do you mean, you people? Dude, I say, oh, they ought to make a sequel to Tropic Thunder. No, actually, no. That's one movie you just want to cut it right there because the sequel today would be garbage. You know what I mean? They would even I think Robert Downey Jr. said that in an interview. That's just not something. Sometimes you make a thing, and Tropic Thunder 2 would make huge money because it's kind of like a cult thing now. But sometimes you just don't. You just don't extend it because if Tom Cruise, well, yeah. And that part was funny too. It probably would be good because he's got fuck you money. I mean, when you're in control, yeah. Oh, he's very, and he says in interviews, a lot of people want to talk to him about that movie instead of his big blockbuster movies. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He said you'd be surprised how many people come up to me and you think it's Ethan Hunt. No, they don't talk about Ethan Hunt. They're talking about the guy yelling, the raging guy. Yeah, this shit's hilarious, man. But yeah, your guys' conversation. I'm going to go back to that. I wouldn't have minded a bit more of the shitty Stark when he was a mess. 100%. 100%. Kind of had him more of a happy, sloppy drunk in the beginning, mostly just party dude, a redemption arc. Yeah, I mean, Tony Stark's battles with alcohol in the comic books in the late 70s went to a dark place. There's a in panel where Jarvis, when they actually had Jarvis as a human being and a great character for the Avengers, fucking walked out on him. So I'm sick of you, man. And they throw a little jab. They throw a little jab at Dave Cockrum in there too. A lot of people don't know that. I ought to bring that up. Yeah, that's Batman. Yeah, playing a role. Yeah. Start out showing him being drunk and stupid in flashbacks. Just 15 minutes. Rhodey has to step in. Mandarin starts his shit in second act. Not the Mandarin that they did, though. No. You got to make the Mandarin like an actual villain, not some stupid. God, I don't understand who came up with that. The difference was the self-inflicted alcohol. Yeah, 100%. Tony goes cold turkey and gets his shit together for them to team up. That would be good. Going to an AA meeting. I don't know if Stark's an AA kind of guy. You know what I mean? But that part I might disagree with. But yeah, that sounds good. RDJ was perfect choice to play. Yeah, I mean, I'm serious. I went on that. I used to follow these movies in the early 2000s. Like they had SpiderManHype.com, which was just a message board. This was in 1999, 2 years before, and they would have set leak photos, and they had a rumor that Kirsten Dunst was banging Tobey Maguire, and they saw him holding. Some paparazzi had them holding their hand. They were holding hands walking down the street, and Tobey Maguire hit that shit and then hit it and quit it, But that's about all it's worth. But yeah, I used to get on all those message boards because I mean this is a big deal. I was like, oh, we're actually putting some money into this shit. This is early days of me being on the internet. 1999. But it was SpiderManHype.com, and then it evolved into SuperheroHype.com. So the website, I'm going to see if it still exists. And all it was a simple message board, SuperheroHype.com, because the Ang Lee Hulk movie, they started having, it's right here. Let me get off this. This website here. Hey, why is it not? Hey. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. There it is. SuperheroHype.com. This is the website that actually was SpiderManHype.com in 1999. And I lived on this site, dude. I was on this site every day, and then they ended up adding this heroes option, and they added Ghost Rider, or they added the Ang Lee Hulk on the drop down thing, and then they added Ghost Rider because there was rumblings about early set pics of the Nicolas Cage Ghost Rider movie, and then the Daredevil. They had the Ben Affleck Daredevil going on. And then one day I got on it, and it was all of a sudden there was an upgrade to the website, and it was superherohype.com. And then you could hit the drop down, and there was like 6 or 7. They were branching out on heroes. So that's the kind of the evolution of this site right here. But this was the first one. This was the first big site that was covering this shit. But there was Jon Favreau in 2005. Jon Favreau had a message board up where he would be giving fans a little bit of lowdown about the rumblings of that early stages of talk and production, pre-production of the Iron Man movie. And that's when I got on there and said, and I had not seen any comments, but people were like just making random comments on the site. And I got on, I logged in, made a little account and logged in. And I said, Robert Downey Jr. would be a perfect Tony Stark. And I think I gave 2 or 3 more actors that might be able to do it. And I can't remember off the top of my head who else I said. But then I looked further in the site, and everyone had, not everyone, but there were a lot of people saying Robert Downey Jr., Robert Downey Jr. And it was kind of weird, and then it was confirmed like a year later. Yes, Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in the first Marvel Studio movie as Tony Stark. I remember this day going to see that movie. And when I first saw it, it took me a little while to realize just how good the movie was. I was judging the movie a little bit based on what I knew of the comic books. And I always do that. I'm guilty of over critiquing the movie based on comic books. And I went, and I remember coming home, and I called my buddy. I was on the phone with my buddy, and he's like, how was that? And I was like, because he kind of followed me collecting comic books a little bit in the early 80s. We had gone to elementary school and 1 year of high school together. But in the early 80s, he kind of would follow me to garage sales and the comic book. And he got into it, but he was just like he was like a normie. But he was interested in the movie. And he said, how was that? And I said, it was good. Robert Downey Jr. is perfect. I didn't like the villain. I didn't like the warmonger or whatever it was. I love Jeff Bridges, don't get me wrong, but I wanted to see more of a mainstream Iron Man villain, except Obadiah Stane getting into some generic robot suit, mech suit. I would have wanted to see an actual comic book villain, Mandarin, comes to mind, like Iron Man, one of Iron Man's main. He's also one of Hulk's villains. But somebody like Mandarin or Whiplash, which they kind of did a generic version of Whiplash in the second one with Mickey Rourke. But I wanted to see like the buildup of like a mainstream villain. The villain's important to me. They always seem to they always vanilla the villain down. I hate that shit. Because look at Star Wars. I mean, Darth Vader is a great villain. If you don't have Darth Vader, that movie doesn't work as well. Not even near as well. You've got to have a great villain, and they've got so many great villains in the comic books, but they don't use them. They don't use them right. You can have Crimson Dynamo, like have the Russian angle where Russia's building this super soldier mech suit. You have Crimson Dynamo. There's Titanium Man. There's the Melter. Unicorn, Firebrand. I mean, some of them won't work on screen. I understand. That might be. I mean, Iron Man's got a host of fucking awesome villains, but Crimson Dynamo would come. That'd be a perfect storyline to start out. It's another United States versus Russia thing, kind of starting up, and maybe some rogue faction in Russia got a hold of that tech, the Crimson Dynamo suit, and then you had kind of a build up to that where, you know, it's Iron Man versus Crimson Dynamo. I would have loved to have seen that, but instead it's Obadiah Stane. Now you could still have Obadiah Stane in the movie as like a corporate raider type. He's going behind, you know, they're working together in Stark Industries, but he's kind of going behind his back to try to fucking sabotage the company or something like that. You could go with that. You could go with that kind of angle and have like plot threads kind of going, you know, all at the same time. That'd have been awesome. I think, but that was like my big drawback of really, really enjoying that movie. But then as the years go by and I rewatch the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, this is really good. You know, putting all that, you know, in hindsight's always easier, but yeah, the superherohype.com, that all started with Spider-Man hype.com for the 2002 Spider-Man movie. And I remember it seemed like eternity from 1999 when they first started talking about that movie. And Sam Raimi, I only knew Sam Raimi. I knew Sam Raimi through two movies, Evil Dead and For Love of the Game. And I love Evil Dead, and I love For Love of the Game. That makes any sense. It's a baseball game. It's a baseball movie with Kevin Costner, and he directed both of those. So that's the only way I knew Sam Raimi. But I was like, wow, Sam Raimi's doing Spider-Man. That's interesting. But then they had the set leaks. You know, they had the pictures of the set leaks with it. And then the big controversy, of course, was, yeah, you guessed it, the Green Goblin suit. That was like on the message boards on SpiderManHype.com that, oh my God, the fucking, and you didn't hear about it because you didn't have Twitter. Just imagine Twitter today if it existed. You know, you didn't have Twitter or YouTube, so you didn't. This is the only portal I had to know what was going on with that movie. And they also had X-Men, but for some reason they didn't cover the X-Men. Had already like been out there by 2000. The X-Men movie had already. People had already been exposed to the X-Men movie, so they were kind of moving on. The Green Gobbler, don't Lizzo here, but the big controversy. Oh shit! I just activated my fucking headset mic, and I didn't want to do that. Oh boy, I thought that was turned off. Yeah, that's coming through. That shouldn't be. How did that happen? There we go. I got it turned off now. You gonna have to, I didn't have it flipped up all the way. I bumped it. But yeah, that Green Goblin suit was, people were fucking outraged. And some people were like, well, it might be the best they can do. And I hated it. I hated the design of the Green Goblin suit in that original Spider-Man movie. But everything else looked great in that movie, I thought. the Spider-Man suit, and Tobey Maguire was all right, and Kirsten Dunst I wasn't real thrilled about, and they could have done a better Harry Osborn, James Franco, but J.K. Simmons as J. Jonah Jameson was perfect, but yeah, I remember that, but they didn't cover a lot of the X-Men on that SpiderManHype.com movie, because for one, the movie, by the time the SpiderManHype.com website started rolling, the message board, the X-Men movie was already out, and it was a hit, so then that just even built up the Spider-Man hype even more. So, but the two movies, different studios, Sony did Spider-Man and Fox did X-Men, but and the X-Men 2 movie, they started covering some of the X-Men 2 movie on this, but I forget, by that time they had changed the name from SpiderManHype.com to SuperheroHype.com. They even did that before the Spider-Man movie released in 2002, I remember. And then they had the Ghost Rider. They had the early pictures of the Ghost Rider, fucking the motorcycle, Johnny Blaze's motorcycle. But everybody was like, Nicolas Cage as Johnny Blaze. So I was never really all that hyped for that movie, for good reason. But it's Spider People. Oh, you talk about cheapening a character. But yeah, it's kind of interesting to see this website evolve over the years. Man, that just seems, to me, this seems like yesterday. But good God, man, that's been over 20 years ago. And they started doing a little bit of the Lord of the Rings movie, too, on here. On SpiderManHype.com, they started rumbling about the Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings movies and stuff like that. And that's why they had to expand the movie, because the traffic started coming, or expand the website. Anyway. Blah, 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 blah. But, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I'm probably not even going to look at these. Oh, wrong. Oh, that's the wrong. I can't even get my Stream Deck right. Yeah, I picked up a couple issues. Picked up this cool yesterday at Bob's Comic Castle. I picked up this Astonishing Tales number 31 from 1975. Freaking awesome. Rich Buckler, Klaus Janson. Klaus Janson inked Rich Buckler. Rich Buckler created Deathlock, but I had to get this. I mean, it's in awesome shape too. I got to get it. I got to put a new bag and board on it. But I picked this book up. I think I got it for $8, which is, it's not worth anything. It's, but I was like, $8. Yeah, I'll take it in this kind of shape. Hell yeah. And I love that cover. I love that freaking cover. It's Hannigan. Not sure who embellishes this cover, but yeah, this is awesome. I just love that cover. Deathlock from like a worm's eye view is sitting there. They give him normal like pistols here. That's kind of weird, but yeah, that's one thing I got. And then I picked up John Byrne Avengers. That's in pretty good shape. Avengers 184. John Byrne. And what's interesting about this book, I had been over this book on the Marvel app. John Byrne, David Michelinie writes it. Same guy that wrote the Demon in the Bottle stuff for Iron Man. But John Byrne, choreography and pencils. And it's got D. Hands as ink. Well, I found out what that means. I was like, what? Because I see Klaus Janson. I see a lot of Klaus Janson in this. But I also see some other inkers as well. It's not all Klaus Janson embellishing the art, John Byrne's artwork here. But D. Hands means diverse hands, meaning there's about 4 different inkers on this book. So something weird was going on. This is from 1979. But this is awesome. They're fighting Absorbing Man. You've got the old style Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers. This is a great George Perez cover, by the way. I love this cover. I remember buying this as a kid off the spinner rack, man. I was like, oh, crap, this is awesome. Yeah, DEI hands. Yeah, I never knew what D hands was. I was like, what is... Because I told Bob at the Bob's Comic Castle, I had about an hour and a half, almost a 2-hour conversation about comic books with him. And he's owned that shop for like 30 years. Dude knows comic books. But he's like me. He's a little older than I am. And he bought it in the 90s. He used to work there in the 80s. He's like, man, you look and sound familiar. And I was like, yeah, you know me. You've talked to me once in the last 35 years, but you know who I am. But how's he stay in business? No, he doesn't do online orders. It's the Ball State College campus. He's barely staying in business. He runs it's like the shop is dirty. I've got some video of it. I've got like over an hour footage of me in the shop talking to him. He's a socially awkward guy, real nice guy, but he doesn't like to listen. Like him and I were cutting each other off, and I do that. I'm guilty of doing that terrible. When I get talking about something, my mouth gets ahead of my slow ass brain. But we were cutting each other off terrible because I was starting to correct him on some stuff, and he's not used to that. You know what I mean? Because he's the guy that whenever there's a movie come out, like the Ball State campus, the news, the Ball State College news goes to his shop and interviews him. He says they set up lights, and he's a socially awkward guy. He's very shy. He knew me. He had familiarity with me. He just started rattling my ear off when I came in the shop because he's like, "Oh, I somehow I know this guy," and he just started rattling. I went straight to the old long boxes and started looking through them, and he's like, "Man," and he kept looking at me the whole time, going, "I know you." I was like, "Yeah, I clerked there for some Saturdays, back in 1985 or 1984, for comic books." I didn't try to tell him that, but he knew who I was. Oh, he's an actual comic book guy. But they come and interview him, but he's a very socially awkward guy. And, him and I, it's like we could finish each other's sentences about comic book creators and about what the fuck is going on today with the shit. Yeah, we were lockstep. But he likes DC as much as he likes Marvel. I was trying to steer it away from DC conversations, but he kept bringing up like old Titans, old Legion, stuff like that, which I can talk about, but it's just not my thing. Yeah, we had a pretty good conversation, but he just I had to talk over him just to get a word in, which I'm horrible. But I tried to listen to him as much as I can. But he was getting his facts screwed up about some 70s stuff that I had to. And he kind of looked at me and he goes, maybe I need to start. He goes, I need to slow down and look a little bit and double check what I'm saying. And I said, yeah, I mean, you're just wrong about a few things about John Byrne and stuff, but he didn't realize this was a John Byrne issue. He had forgotten that this was a John Byrne issue. And I think his policy is if it's $10 book, it's up on his wall thing, which the shop is dirty. He's got books stacked like behind the counter. I was like thinking, man, if I had enough money, I'd buy in to his business and I'd clean up the store and get it organized. But I can tell it would be stepping on his toes. He's like a reclusive guy, that's been in that shop for 30. I was like, I can't believe you're still here, man. And the last time I talked to him, he was down in the dumps like 11, 12 years ago. I talked to him for like an hour and he was so down, like depressed, because I think the shop was about ready to go under. But the movies, he said, get people interested. Like he said, when the Moon Knight show came out on Disney Plus, he had college kids coming in and buying up everything Moon Knight. And that's what's keeping him afloat. The Werewolf by Night, he sold out of. So he goes to the flea market. He looks for the older, he goes around to flea markets, looks for the older books that he thinks is going to come out on those shows. Now, he doesn't watch the shows. He said, I watch the YouTube reaction to the shows. I don't watch the shows. He's like, because he goes, I know I won't like it because it's not the comic book. And I said, dude, you're speaking my, I told him, I said, you are speaking my language. You are 100% speaking my language. But he didn't remember this was John Byrne, and it wasn't up on his wall. And I think I gave him $7 for it. So it's in damn good shape too. If I don't bend him up here, it's in pretty damn good shape. But I love this issue. This issue like brings back sentimental value to me. But I don't watch all the shows, but I don't watch them all the way through. But I do watch the shows. I did not like Moon Knight. I love that character. I was big into that character in 1980, 81. I mean, Moon Knight was like a bolt of lightning. Like, oh, wow. That and Frank Miller Daredevil, was like the two big things. Fuck, I gave up on that after 3. And I kind of liked that first episode. I didn't hate it. I wasn't in love with it, that She-Hulk. I was like, okay. And then I watched the next 2 episodes and I said, yeah, they're fucked. They don't know how to write a show. They don't know how to write these characters. And I didn't watch anymore. I watched the first 3. I watched like half of the 4th episode. And then they said they brought some kind of wrecking crew. Don't fuck with the wrecking crew. Speaking of the wrecking crew, right here. There's one of them right here. Who's that? Oh, Thunderball. Yeah, they got Thunderball here. The Wrecker. Pile Driver, yeah, there's some wrecking. But I picked up Secret Wars number 6 for $10. I was gonna try to haggle with him on this because I think I could have gotten it for about 8. It's not worth, you know what I mean? Step 1, self-insert your issues. Step 2, make fun of fans. Exactly. Yeah, fuck that. This is serious business, man. This isn't your sandbox. You know what I mean? This shit is not your sandbox. Fuck you. Make your own sandbox. This is old Marvel stuff. This is Jack Kirby's sandbox. We had a big, long talk about Jack Kirby at the thing, about how he got fucking shafted. See, when I was in the late 70s, when I was really getting into comic books and my friends were in it in the neighborhood, Jack Kirby was a joke. My friends hated Jack Kirby. It looked old. It looked old style. Don't need it. Step 3, don't read or research the source material. Exactly. So I gave him $10 for Secret Wars number 6, which is in really good shape. It didn't have a cardboard. I got a big stack of cardboard backers and everything. I got long boxes. I got supplies for comic books. Nice Bob Layton cover there. But I've got another Secret Wars coming tomorrow in the mail. I've got issue 5 of Secret Wars that I bought online from Peter Shimetti, the owner of Alterna Comics. I bought off of his eBay store. So I'm getting that in the mail tomorrow or Wednesday. And Secret Wars number 5. I'm going to try to complete my Secret Wars. The most expensive one to get is going to be number 1 and number 8, of course. But anyway, so I'll have 5 or 6. And I think I've got 7 already in my collection. I can't remember. I used to have them. I used to have like double copies of all of them in mint condition. And then I got Micronauts number 3. It has a stain here. It has like a little brown mark. It's $1.50, and they're not worth anything. But the beautiful thing about it, and it may not be in super great condition, $1.50, man. I wasn't going to argue with him because these are gold to me. This is imagination fuel for me, trying to make my own comic book universe. I was like, Micronauts is right up my alley. If I can get the goddamn, I don't like these double tape. I'm not really concerned about the condition. I'll be rereading this one. But this is imagination fuel right here, and it's well worth $1. I love Baron Karza. Baron Karza is badass. Oh, Oh God, I remember this episode. I remember this issue. Bill Mantlo, Michael Golden, Joseph Rubenstein. Oh my God, dude. Al Milgram's the fucking editor, and of course Jim Shooter. This is 1978. By Mego Corporation. Mego Corporation owns the rights, all rights reserved. So what Marvel had to do is create a few characters that weren't under the Mego license. So, but all the licensed shit, they turned to Bill Mantlo to write it, like Godzilla, Shogun Warriors. But you got Michael Golden. Michael Golden is a fucking Michael Golden, man. You talk about, I love these old ads, dude. The fucking memories, like a burst of memory. It's like a time warp. But you've got Michael Golden with, I remember this episode. I remember this issue because in issue number 2, they come to Earth and this kid's out mowing his lawn. And they're dealing with like what's going on in the yard. It's like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids before Honey, I Shrunk the Kids copied off of fucking Micronauts. Unless it was a book before this called Honey, I Shrunk the Kids. They fucking copied right off the Micronauts. The Microverse, a subatomic solar system ruled by the tyrannical Baron Karza aboard the spaceship Endeavor. But the characters that Marvel created were Marionette. They call him Galactic Warrior here. His name is Bug. Biotron, Microtron, and a Croyer are. He was pronouncing an Acroyear. I always pronounce it a Croyer. Pretty sure it's a Croyer, which was basically everybody's favorite. Commander Rand, they call him Space Glider here because you click his back on the action figure and these little glider wings would open up because I had them all. Me and my buddy had them all. But that was Commander Rand was created by Marvel as well. And Marionette, you had to have the beautiful damsel. But here's a guy on a skateboard. But man, if you don't know anything about the Micronauts, I can't wait to get my hands on some sort of omnibus or some kind of collection edition hardcover. If you've never seen the Micronauts, it's fucking badass, man. I like this. It was right up there with Star Wars for me for a little while, and then it kind of went away, unfortunately. The comic was made for the toys. Oh, yeah, 100%. But Marvel had to, they got to have a story. You just can't have a story with robots. They had to create a few characters to make it, universe and everything. But the Baron Karza action figure was bigger, and it was a centaur. Like, you could connect, you could have the Baron Karza figure, which was bigger than the other Micronauts. And then you could attach, like, a horse thing to make him like a centaur mode, like a transformer type thing. That is bad. Look at this shit, man. They came from inner space. But I got to get 1 and 2. And he didn't have them. These are the only 2 Micronaut books he had. Because I hit him up. It's like he read my mind coming in. It was creepy. He goes, I have some Micronauts. And I was like, fucking, you read my mind, dude. Really? But I forgot to ask him about 70s Iron Fist. John Byrne, Chris Claremont, Dave Hunt, Dan Green inking 70s Iron Fist. I totally fucking spaced it because we got into a little bit of a debate because he thought that John Byrne started Marvel in the 80s. And I said, no. He's like, yeah, John Byrne, he's like, this is the comic book that started the debate. And I got it for $8. There's a debate about this. This is John Byrne's first Fantastic Four to start his extended run. Because Diablo, he's got that character on the cover. This is John Byrne. Right there, it says Byrne and Austin doing the cover. But he does the interiors. This is his first start of writing the book and drawing the book. I got it for $8, and it's in awesome condition. It's in fucking mint condition. I was surprised. He was confused. He was thinking somehow that I said, you do know. He's like, well, John Byrne did the X-Men, of course. And I was like, yeah. He was thinking that X-Men run came after this. He was all confused. And I said, remember, John Byrne did Iron Fist in 1975 with Chris Claremont, 1976. I'm confused in the story, but he looked at me like, oh my God, like his eyes got big. He was like, oh my fucking God, you're right. Like, how could I get that wrong? Like, he's old. I mean, he's old like me. We're losing our marbles, you know. But I said, don't feel bad. I do this shit all the time. I argued with a guy and I was off by 10 years on an argument. I argued that Thunderbolts, which is going to be a movie coming out when the writers strike, they're going to have Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts comic book came out in the 90s. I swear to this day that I bought Thunderbolts #1 in 1986. I still swear to this day. But it was 1996 that I bought Thunderbolts #1. I mean, my memory just failed me. And I argued with a guy for like a whole day about it on Twitter last year. And he's like, you're losing your mind, dude. He's like, it's the Mandela effect, is what he said. He said Thunderbolts came out in 96, not 86. And I said, no, you're wrong. I was a senior in high school. And blah, blah, and I was fucking dead wrong, man. I was dead wrong. And I looked it up and I said, you're fucking right. How could I have been off by 10 years? Because I was thinking I read that book while I was laying in my bed at my mom and dad's house. I didn't. I read that book when I was laying in my bed in my condo on the west side of Indianapolis. And my memory fucking failed me. And then I got this beautiful condition. I think this is George Perez. If it's Ron Wilson, I'm going to be a little bit. Do peas count? Yeah, lost. Drum roll is this. I got this for $10. This was up on his wall. Sal Buscema. I was wrong on everything. I still love it. Bill Mantlow's the scripter. Lynn Wein, Jim Shooter, and Archie Goodwin are the plotters. Sal Buscema and Joe Sinnott are the artists. So I was wrong. This is not George Perez. I was telling, so see, that's something I was wrong about yesterday. But he didn't know either. I just said, yeah, that's George Perez issue. This is one where it was a fill-in. They had Sal Buscema filling in, which is still awesome. I mean, I love that thing. Some of us can't afford to be privileged with Marvels, Phil. Yeah, exactly. It's not all paradise. Yeah, I love this anyway. You got a Nihilus, the Brute, and a Nihilus in this. Negative Zone. Yeah, I mean, I love this shit. I was wrong, though. I thought it was George Perez. I knew Ron Wilson did the cover. So, yeah, I was screwed on that one. I ought to bring out my price guide and see what that's worth. I don't think it's worth $10. It might be worth, in this condition, yeah, it'd probably go for $10. The cover isn't lined right. It's got a little off-center cover on the spine. Yeah, that would take it down a little bit. But that's still, the colors there, it's still beautiful. Didn't mean to offend the poors. I'd buy that for $1. Well, I bought it for $10. I wanted to help the guy out. I spent $50, man. I don't carry cash, but yesterday I had like $60 on me left over from the Reds game. And I didn't know that the Reds stadium don't take cash anymore. You can't spend cash at the Great American Ballpark. But yeah, I got it off his wall, and I think I got another book, and I think it's in my other room. I got one other, but I ended up spending $50 for him, $52, just to help him out, man. But I told him, I said, look, I said, I get on Spotify every once in a while, and I talk about old comic books. And I said, if you ever want to join me, it's casual. You wouldn't be on video, just audio. Let me know. I said, I have an extra mic I can bring to Muncie. We can sit in your shop. I can get myself a laptop or bring, I'll get myself a laptop. I said, if you want to do like every once in a while, I will come to your shop. It's an hour away from me. I mean, he's a good guy. He told me Mark Waid used to live in Muncie just recently. The comic book writer. He was dating a girl. He was dating a woman from going down to Big Bob's Comic Barn. But I said, if you want to do once a month, I would bring my snowball mic. I would get myself another snowball mic, for fucking $30, $40. I'd get myself a laptop. I'd invest in a laptop, which I kind of want to get anyway. And I would, or bring my iPad or whatever. And I would set up a thing where we talk comic books for an hour or two. And I upload it and straight from Bob's Comic Castle. And then it's something you can advertise, And yeah, I'm going to hit him up. And he's like, no, he goes, when I know it's being recorded, I freeze up, man. And I said, I've been recording you with this the whole time. He goes, I know, but that's different. I said, how is that different? I said, it's just us, but I didn't try to like push it. But he was kind of like, He goes, well, when I go there in a couple weeks, and I'm going to take the stuff. When I go there in a couple weeks and I spend a little bit more money down there, because I want to buy some more stuff anyway. When he sees that I'm the real deal and wanting to, further my collection, rebuild my collection, and I'm starting to spend a little cash in there, I guarantee we'll. And I said, wear a Bob's Comic Castle shirt, and I'll do the same, and and then I'll boot your ass right out. Get out of here! This is my comic book shop now, you mother. But yeah, I mean, I'll even make up. I told him I'll make up shirts, like you don't have to pay me. I'll be just I'll be one of the staff, but I won't take a salary. Yeah, I'm planning my corporate takeover. Shut up, Chubbles. But anyway, that's my comic books, and I might upload that video I got from the GoPro. But he's a strange guy, He's been in a comic book shop for 35 years. Nice guy though, real nice guy, but he's real shy. But yeah, he knows his shit though. Like he was schooling me on some stuff. Count. Chubbles is jealous. Yeah, Chubbles wants some Chubble time, I guess. But I gotta get cracking anyway. It's noon. I didn't mean to be on here this long. But yeah, I'm gonna try to set something up with him. My luck is I'll get down there and he went out of business. That's the way my fucking shit goes, man. As soon as I get everything set up, those cartoonist kayfaber guys though, they use their like iPad and stuff. They don't, but I'm sure they're using a laptop, and I'm sure there's some Wi-Fi in there, Years of getting by and count ruins. That's what I'm saying. As soon as I involve myself a little bit, they're I got to close up shop. But he says those Disney Plus shows drives people in to get stuff. Like he had no Moon Knight left because they bought up all the Moon Knight. So he uses those shows, and the same with Werewolf by Night. Now, he had some cool-ass Tomb of Dracula, and I'm predicting that they're going to try to do something along the lines of the Tomb of Dracula stuff sometime to get licensing and all that. Plus Disney. Yeah, because the writer's strike. Well, he was worried about the writer's strike. He doesn't like the shows, but he uses them to sell product, which is smart, so he'll go out and get something. He's like, yeah, he goes, I couldn't keep Moon Knight stuff. When they announced that Disney Plus, the college kids come a running in to get the Moon Knight stuff. And he's got some guys that he buy off of him, and then they jack the price up and sell them online, is what he said. Turns out diversity and inclusion is helping someone, the white man. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it was pretty cool. And I dropped $50. I can drop. Amazon's got that Comics Garage subscription that you $50 a month and you get freaking 24 comics a month. But the majority of them are crap. The majority of them are like stuff from like 2008, 2007. They ain't worth a fucking dollar. At least I can go to his shop and get stuff that's not in mint condition, but in pretty good condition. Like he keeps his stuff. He could keep his stuff a little better. But he had some good stuff. And now that he knows that I'm in play a little bit, I told him, I said, I'll be back. He's going to start looking for Micronauts and, we had a big, long G.I. Joe conversation. We had about a 20-minute G.I. Joe. He didn't have any of the old G.I. Joes because he sold them. But I told him be on the lookout for those old Bronze Age G.I. Joes. He didn't like Transformers. He doesn't like that. But yeah, I can choose the ones I want. So, but anyway, that's my little adventure I had yesterday. And my mom and my sister were waiting on me because they were going to order something to eat. And I didn't have my phone with me. And I was walking. And it's a half-hour walk, from the house almost. About a 20-minute walk from where my parents live. So, and I didn't mean to sit in there for almost 2 hours and talk. So they were mad. I got home. They were like, we were texting you. And I said, yeah, my phone's right over there in my backpack. I didn't take my phone with me. I had my GoPro. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here. I didn't mean to waste you two guys' day or anything. But I got to get some shit done. While it's not raining. I'm waiting for the yard to dry out so I can fucking mow this Vietnam jungle. What's
Just
up?
Import some Vietnamese and let them hang out in the jungle.
Oh, I'm telling you, my backyard's looking like fucking the Ho Chi Minh fucking trail right now, man. It's bad.
You could be like, what's his name? Tom Berenger? No, it's Richard Gere.
Richard Gere, yeah.
Yeah, let some people build a hut in your backyard.
Sure, bring them on. Yeah, I mean they won't fucking rob me blind and loot my garage or anything. Sure, why not?
Too much land. Greta said you got too much land. You need to reduce your carbon footprint. Let them build some houses out of grass. Okay.
Hey, I'll sell her my house. She don't like the way I'm using it. I'll sell it to her. How's that? Take the money. Take the profit and the money. She can tear it down. She can use electric bulldozers and tear it all down. Fucking dumb bitch. I
realized, as you were talking about your experience at this old comic shop, I went to an old music shop.
You were. I saw you said that the other day.
I didn't put two and two together until literally just right now because I'm fucking stupid. All of what you were saying about how that guy was, and you kind of had a conversation. I went into this shop that I had gone into years ago, like probably 20 years ago. And I was trying to be my normal, like, hey man, you guys got this, you got that, you got shirts, you got hats, I wanna it's a local business. Like I wanted to, I'm gonna support local business, whatever. I'm just being a customer that is interested and, kind of, and I was getting like, no, we don't have any of that. No, just like total.
Don't you hate that shit?
Yeah, no personality, like
no engagement whatsoever.
And I'm like, wow, like I'm trying it. I was like, what am I trying? Are you a woman and I'm trying to date you? Jesus Christ. I expect this from women,
Right.
Like if I'm trying
the cold shoulder is what we call it, the cold shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah. And
I hate it.
I pulled out a couple of CDs. I was like, hey, do you know if these have like the Digipack code in there to where you can just, listen to them on your Spotify or download a digital version? I don't know. And I'm like, how do you not know? You fucking work
right
here. Like, even I know about these things, and I'm a fucking old man, all right? Like, you know,
Unbelievable, man.
like, seriously.
Unfucking believable.
I was like, huh, okay. I was like, well, I guess I could order a CD because, I mean, who even has CD players anymore, you know?
Right.
So I haven't even opened the damn things. I'm going to open them and take a look at them. But I didn't even have to buy them, dude. I could listen to those albums on Spotify.
On Spotify, exactly. But
And the only reason
you wanted it. You wanted it in your hand, though. Also, you know what I mean? You wanted the copy in your hand, but you were trying to support them.
Well, I wanted it for two reasons. Not because I wanted it in my hand. I actually don't care too much about that stuff.
Oh.
One, I wanted to support the band by buying their
Oh,
album
yeah,
and giving them some
yeah.
money.
That's another thing.
Versus
Yeah.
Listening to on Spotify, you're giving them like
pennies. Right? Yeah, it's
hey,
that.
That's still something,
yeah.
but either
right.
way, I'm like, I want to go the extra step.
Right.
Number two, I want to support my local music shop that I've known has been there since I was in high school, you know?
Right.
I'm like, oh, that's cool. Maybe they appreciate people coming in, you know?
Apparently not.
They're struggling. No, apparently they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, well, do y'all order stuff? And I mean, yeah, I guess we could. And I'm like, holy shit. Somebody's coming in ready to fucking throw money. This is not the first time this has happened to me, right? And you can't even be fucking bothered.
And you can't bother. They're probably judgy. They're probably Oh, what he listens to.
Not at all, dude. It was literally, in fact, the guy was old too. Like he was kind of maybe my age or maybe a little younger. And he didn't have that judgy kind of like whatever. He just had I don't even care. Like this could be a coffee shop.
I don't give a fuck if you're here or not.
Yeah. And I used to go there because a buddy of mine used to work there that I used to work with at a different place. He ended up leaving. I used to work at Best Buy. He used to work Best Buy. And back in the warehouse, of course, I know all the grunts. So I would do like some warehouse stuff too, you know, as extra work, you know, because I'm a lazy minority. But
oh, jeez.
I love throwing a joke. I got it. I'm a majority now. Shut up.
You're a majority.
So anyway,
I was gonna say I'm the minority. I go where you are. I'm the fucking minority.
Yeah, if you were. So anyways, but that dude used to work at this place. I found out, but he died some while back on cancer. And I said, oh, yeah, I used to come here, you know, when Jaime used to work here, fucking went over his head like nothing. But back when that guy had cancer and they were like, he was, you know, they were trying to raise money, he was like a figure for the store. And I'm like, y'all don't even know your own fucking history? Like,
unbelievable, man.
A local store, if you don't even give a shit about your
fucking believable.
You don't know your history. You don't know your product. You don't know the extended product. Like shirts bringing way more money. And hats bringing way more money than the fucking CD.
The merch, yeah, 100, yeah.
You know, there's a bigger cut.
Oh, there's a way bigger cut.
Like, why would anyone ever fucking come back here? Like,
well, it's weird that you say that.
There's a dime a dozen of those shops
right?
Around. There's not many of those shops at all.
Right. Unbelievable, man. You know, I've got one for you. Online. There's another comic store in Muncie that I went that I didn't go to. I've been to it in the past. I went there about 7 years ago, and they were the rudest fucking people. Like they had contempt for me even talking about comic books. I come in. It was called Aw Yeah Comics. It's in Muncie. I guess that Mark Waid guy owned it for a little bit. The comic book guy. He was trying to open another one somewhere on the college campus. It didn't work out. But somebody had owned it. It's a franchise thing. It's called Aw Yeah Comics. I went in there and I tried to drum up a comic. I told Bob this yesterday. I said, I went in there and they were rude. He goes, yeah. I said, what I liked about you is you saw that I went over to the long boxes. So I'm interested in back issues. And you came around. He came around. He said, hello. He had the radio playing. He said, hello. He's a shy guy. He's kind of awkward. And he was like,
comic book guy.
Yeah, he's a comic book guy, but he instantly tried to drum up a comic book conversation with me just to get me feel me out. And then his eyes got as big as fucking saucers when I started rambling off what I was looking for. He was like, oh, yes, I can talk this guy a mile a minute. And we just went back and forth like it was like we were old nom buddies for for 50 years. You know what I mean? We just went back and forth. And he was like, he said when I was leaving, he he had a family come in. It was the only other customer I saw while I was there for 2 hours. And I opened the door for the customer, came in and his kids, and I said, hello. And I was all friendly, like, come on in, you know, and they were like, oh, hello. We were, my young kids are looking for comic books. And I was like, oh, great. You know, I was all positive and everything. And Bob came right around the counter and engaged them friendly. And I was like, this is how you run a fucking comic book shop. Yeah. You stir up a little emotion about what you're selling. And he was fucking embarrassed. Anytime that I would start talking about something and he didn't know it, you could see on the look on his face, he was embarrassed because I corrected him about a few things like Dave Cockrum, X-Men. He said something. He said that John Byrne did the first X-Men after the giant size. I said, no, that's Dave Cockrum. He's like, I mean, he was like, the look of embarrassment on his face. He's like, oh my God, you're right. You know,
that's what happens when you don't have another stone.
You don't have somebody. He goes, you don't understand how much I just enjoyed the conversation we just had. He goes, to have somebody like you come in that's not a college kid, because these college kids can't talk this stuff. And I was like, hey man, I learned a lot of stuff from you today. I learned a lot, you know.
Talk the stuff. You and Super Patriot definitely.
Yeah.
I can't even talk the stuff, but at least I can hear you out, and I know some things.
This guy would run me under the table if push came to shove. He'd run me under the table.
With him, when those synapses aren't firing off, you're not keeping that brain part, that active part of your memory going. So yeah, it's going to wear out eventually.
But he was actually sweating like an hour into our conversation because he was having to fire memories that he hadn't fired in a long time. And I shook his hand in, and he was sweating bullets like. But and he was looking at me like he was all intense, like, oh my God, I gotta know. And he said to me, he goes, I apologize for anything I got wrong. We talked for an hour and a half. He goes, I need you to come back more to talk this stuff, to get me back. It's been a long time. I said, no problem. You know.
You mean he didn't blame you for making him feel bad?
Right. He goes, I should know that. He goes, this is my profession. That's what he said.
Personal responsibility.
Yeah, that's what he said. Yeah.
That's weird.
Yeah. And I was like,
I love the description of what you said the comic book shop was like, because to me, that's kind of like that's how it's
right.
It's not how it should be, but I don't like the whole clean, start clean, no character kind of shit.
There's a charm. There's a charm to his comic book shop, though.
Right.
You go in, and it's not nasty, but it's.
Right. Yeah.
It looks it looks like a kind of a mad scientist comic book. You can tell he's got stacks of like shit like behind the counter, like piled everywhere, like comic books and stuff. I'm looking through them, going, what the. You've got that issue just sitting there like that,
Sanitized. That's the word I was looking for.
I don't want sanitized. Exactly, 100%.
You're not into comics because you're trying to find the most diverse and inclusive and
100%
safest words and
100%
about exactly everything.
Fucking hit the head. You just hit the nail on the head.
Like we said, we watched Tony Stark deal with alcoholism. We watched, characters deal with their loved ones getting murdered, and how are they going to handle this situation?
Right.
These are not, it's like, so yeah, they're comics to a degree, but they also did tackle big stories too,
Right.
And not the way people put it now, where they make it all political.
You just summed it up with that, though. Yeah. I'm not looking for some fucking glossed over, shiny fucking. I'm looking for something that kind of embodies his comic book shop. It could be improved, don't get me wrong, but it looks like a guy that lives comic books,
which is fucking awesome in my opinion.
But if he had more clientele, he would even have it more so looking like a comic book clubhouse where I want it looking a little fucking janky. I want it to be a little. I don't want it to have sparkling and looking like a blockbuster video. I don't want that in my comic book shop. Yeah, exactly, 100%.
It's kind of interesting that he doesn't get even more business from the college kids. I know, but maybe that's just
he's not in the greatest location for one. I mean, you
Oh,
saw
dude.
that location. It's facing away from the college, and it's actually like a half a mile off of the campus.
We used to do whatever we had to get to a comic, so that doesn't not a fucking excuse to me.
Oh,
Like,
I
a good
100%
comic-
agree. Yeah.
We would go across town practically, you know, like
Yeah.
how many, I remember when I finally got a car, this big old fucking, I can't even remember what it was, but it'd be me and my buddies and be like, all right, who has quarters? Because we're trying to put enough money together to put gas, just a couple of gallons to get to the comic shop and get back. And it wasn't just comics they also sold, you know, like Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer and all these.
That's
you know,
guy.
tabletop
He's got a
RPG type
little
stuff.
bit of this stuff because it comes. But there's a Dungeons and Dragons shop next door called Wizards Keep, and I'm going to go in there next time I go down there.
Yeah, for geeks, we were like,
Yep.
hey, we're nerds, geeks, so that's why you described them. I'm like, yeah, that's like regular. That's like back in the day. That's how it was.
Yep.
You know, like he's socially. So what? That's how it was. Like we, you know, it wasn't like not everyone was like the Kevin Smith people that seemed to be like, hey, this is whatever, blah, blah. Some of them were like, I'm not going to talk to you because I don't know how to talk to people, right?
Right.
But if you engage me, those were the true autists. If you engage me on my actual, what I know about, oh, I've got everything to say in the world, you know? But
Right.
Otherwise, I don't know how to talk to girls.
I hear you.
I just wanted to say there was such a stark difference between your going back to something you had gone to a long time ago and me going back to something I had gone to a long time ago that was all about stuff that I love, which is metal, and they fucking didn't have shit for me. And it wasn't even a generational age thing. The guy he had gray hair. I barely have any in my beard, but I'm sure he was younger than me.
Right.
So,
right.
Fucking weird.
That is
Sad state of
that
affairs.
is sad, man. I mean, that makes you just. I mean, maybe
well, so
you
when
wanted
people-
maybe you wanted to talk about music. You know what I mean?
absolutely wanted to socialize. But that's the thing. When people go, oh, support local bit, you know what? No. We'll support the businesses that actually do what we would want.
100%. It's just
I've had
not
better interactions with people at Walmart.
right. 100%. So I'm going to
not
go
even kidding.
right. 100%. Now this is Bob's Comic Castle. This is kind of this is inside the store here a little bit.
Oh, that's not even the way I was thinking. I was thinking darker and
Oh,
more
this
closed-knit.
picture. I mean, he's got some stained stuff up on the ceiling, and
whatever.
this
Not a big
looks a
deal.
little better than it actually is. Like it's a little dirtier than this, but yeah,
but it's not like claustrophobic and
no,
like, narrow
it's a small shop, but I mean, he's been there forever, but he's got some Magic the Gathering stuff a little bit, but he doesn't have a whole lot of stuff. Like he's not prospering. You can tell he's just he's getting by. That's all. So
reviews, yeah.
I'm gonna try to help him
exactly.
out, man.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Pulled up to the shop called the Toy Pit, not knowing. Walking in was mind blowing. This place to be named the Church of. He's not talking about Bob's Comic Castle there. Yeah, I don't know what the reviews were, but
Right, you might consider. Well, they might not have left an actual review. They might have just put a star.
So much as I want all comic book shops to see, this is Muncie's 5-star comic book shop. It was started by the greatest generation era guy who knows numerous business around Muncie, Bob. Yeah, it's now owned by Trent. That's 2014. Bob, when I was going to the castle, Trent was a young, trim, optimistic guy with a sunny disposition, a spike haircut, and mustache. Now the opposite of all those things. Some people have complained that he is too curt and aloof toward them. I'm going to tell you that he is still a great guy. Yeah, I think it is. I think the guy I was talking to was named Trent, but everyone calls him Bob because it's Bob's Comic Castle. But it's a new owner. He's a good guy. But yeah, if you would take him wrong, he's awkward. Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? He's an awkward guy. A hidden gem in the White River Plaza in Muncie, Indiana. Owner is an expert. Yep.
But see, they're worried about like the external too much. Like, it's like, but does he know what he's doing? Like, can he do the job? That's really what it is. But they're so worried about their feelings initially that they don't want to get past that.
Right.
People forgot how to interact with other people. They want them to all come at them the exact same way.
Same way, and it's not going to happen. Yeah,
Right.
but you can meet on common ground, and that's what we did, you know. And
If there's any ground to meet on, but like with mine, there was nothing. Like I said, it was like trying to talk to some hot chick that was like, "You ain't shit," you know? I'm
right.
like,
Fuck that, man.
and it wasn't even like the '90s aloofness. You know what I mean? Like to me, that's what that they were talking about right there with the kind of like sarcastic and aloof. I'm like, that's kind of how shit was back in the '90s anyway.
A
Like,
little
talking
bit,
about-
right?
Yeah,
Exactly,
you know, it was
100%.
cool to be like disengaged, like whatever, man. I don't
Yeah,
know.
like I'm too cool for school type thing.
The
Yeah,
people I was talking to, that wasn't the case. Like there was literally like dead behind their eyes. Like not even dead. That's not right. That's something. There was literally like, I don't even know, dude.
not
I just
even
work
dead.
here.
Yeah,
I
just
just work here. And
yeah.
and I'm also not a child, like a teenager that would have that attitude, you know?
Yep.
So it was just like wow, why are you here? But you know, pick somewhere else. I'm sure that, you know,
But when
you'll be
I
just as fine.
When I went in there,
I could work in the middle shop and be fucking way better.
Right, exactly. You could work at a comic book shop and be better than most of the, like that one other comic book shop I went into years ago. I said, I'll never be better. I told the guy, I said, because I started asking questions. He's like, yeah, well, I don't know. Just like what you were describing. I don't know. I said, well, you got that. I said, you got that Star-Lord cutout thing. I said, you got $40 on it. I said, I'll give you 30. He goes, oh, nah, it's 40. And he just kind of turned away and looked and, didn't even engage me on what I knew about comic books. And I said, oh, I'll never be back. I said, I'm never buying anything here. I'll be back. He's like, yeah. He just kind of looked at me like, yeah, who cares? Yeah. Well, it's been sold. It's out. I guess it went out. So, or if it's still there, it's somebody else owns it or something. So, hey, you know, fuck. You know, give me a guy that'll engage me a little bit. Not pushy, not some pushy salesman, but somebody that actually wants to, you know, get a little emotion involved in what they're doing. Actually, give a little bit of a shit and interest in what you're trying to sell. If I owned a comic book shop, you'd see it. I wouldn't be pushy, but I would try to, and I wouldn't be judgmental. Rob Liefeld, before I get off here, Rob Liefeld said in one of his podcast episodes last year, he was recounting a time where when he was a teenager, he would go in to buy a CD or a tape of music, and sometimes they talk to him, you know, and then he went back recently to buy something like, you know, 15 years ago or something recent, and they would just judge him on what he was buying. Like, oh my God, I can't believe you're buying. The store clerk, the young store clerk told him, why are you buying this? Why are you listening to that? Why would you do that if you were fucking had a music shop? You're judging someone else's fucking musical taste? Get the fuck out of here.
That's how I felt like the 90s were for me. But I think maybe what it really is teenager perception. Like, it's weird that as an older person that he had that issue. As a teenager, I always thought it was the way the movies were. Like the movies always portrayed like comic and music shops as like, you're not good enough.
Yeah, like
You
High
need
Fidelity,
more.
the movie High
The reality
Fidelity.
is,
They were like
I
that.
never had that experience in comic shops or in music. I never had that. I never had somebody go like, oh, you're buying this, or like, you know, like, I guess I can help.
I
you.
never
Give me
had it
one.
in a comic shop. I've had it in a music shop before, but never a comic book shop. I had it in a Karma a long time ago in a Karma. Guy, you said, oh, what are you listen?
The only time I've had anybody judge me on buying something was when I had an Uber or a Lyft ride, and I was I think I don't know if I can't remember what it was. Maybe I was getting over pneumonia and I hadn't had anything like a burger or any of that kind of shit for a long time. So I was right across from a CVS or a Walgreens, and there was a McDonald's, and I was like, man, I gotta eat something. I'm gonna eat that. You know, that's good. I like a double quarter pounder with cheese, no onions. Shut up. I don't give a fuck. So I got into the car, and it was like some skinny woman, California-looking girl with a California car. And she was like, oh, you got McDonald's? And I was like, yeah, what's the problem? You know,
What the fuck is it to you,
like,
bitch?
Is there a problem with the smell? Or I just opened the window, you know?
Right.
Oh, and then she kind of shut up because she could see I wasn't going to be like bullied into, you know.
Yeah. You're eating meat.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's all made of like
I'm a vegan. No, you're a douchebag, is what you are. I don't give a fuck what you put in your mouth, you dumb bitch.
Yeah, I did the whole running thing. I know how to eat well. That's not the point. Just shut up and drive.
Right.
That's what you're here for. All right, LeBron, just fucking dribble.
Yeah,
No one gives a fuck about whatever else you're saying.
Just drive, just dribble, LeBron.
Yeah.
Dumb.
I used to be like, you know what? He has his opinion, but after a while, it's like, actually, you've shown how you are. Shut up and dribble.
Shut up
No
and
one gives a
dribble.
fuck
Yeah.
anymore. No one cares.
100%, man.
I'm gonna jump out of
100%.
here.
Yeah, I gotta get off here too, man. I'll see you.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, thanks for hanging out, Phil. Phil's like, wow. Yeah, I was reading what you were putting down, Phil. I just couldn't. Remember when the local photography stores here stopped bringing in film, photographic paper, and darkroom supplies and making print? You know, I love digital, but I also like the old stuff too. You know what I mean? Why can't we live in both? Why can't we do both? Well, I'm gonna get out of here.